So I thought what was like really crafty about the scene where you first meet him and you meet like his wife or like his girlfriend or whatever, is that you don't know she's a robot. You initially think she's just a regular person because of how she acts. She obviously
she is a regular person.
Well, exactly.
Yeah. I was like, wait, what?
No, she's a robot.
No, she's a person. Yeah. She's real.
I'm getting
Joshua's wife?
No.
Oh.
Drew's wife. No.
Okay,
I was like, what are we?
What?
I was like, you're throwing me off so hard right now. I thought you were really super playing into like, nah, dude. Like the AI is a real person.
It's a human.
Yeah.
Okay. My
but
bad.
like,
okay, I'm brings his best no matter what.
Are you still on One Piece? Have you been fucking chugging through that still?
Yeah, I'm on episode 88.
I think. Wow.
Yeah.
Dang, last week you were on like 60 something. Oh dang, you're in.
I drew that, bro. Yeah, I followed a tutorial for sure, but yeah, I also have been heavy. Cheers, my good sir. Heavy on some animation. I'm nothing fancy. I cannot draw very well. I had to follow step by step a tutorial to do that.
Fuck it.
Little Luffy there, but stick figures. I've watched tons and tons of stick figure fights when I was a kid. So like I know what I want them to look like in my head. So I just started drawing them. I've been using the iPad and an Apple Pencil that my sister has lent me, thankfully. But Procreate, the app on there, she already had it. It's like $5 on the App Store. But
interesting app name for sure.
Yes, definitely. It's like an art app. You have a ton of brushes. You have erasers, tools that let you distort and swirl, and a bunch of different shit. It's huge. But there's also an animation assist where it pulls up a timeline for you on the bottom, and you can just keep adding your frames, and you see like the onion skin of your previous frames, which is a new term that I just learned, which
onion
is like
skin.
Yeah, so like animation, you're drawing frame by frame, right? So when you draw a frame on a computer software like this, they call it an onion skin, where when you go to your next frame, you'll see an opaque drawing of your last frame, so that you have a reference of where you need to go and like keep moving and stuff like that.
Wow.
Yeah, but it's really fun. I like it a lot.
Fuck
Yeah, it's super cool.
So
Sorry, random tangent on some anime. Yeah,
no,
here.
that's tight.
We got to do the intro too, but I have some. I'll pull up some videos.
What is going on, everybody? You know what it is, and if you don't, if this is your first time listening and you've clicked on this on Spotify and/or Apple Podcasts and/or on YouTube, if you're like literally have 3 phones or like 2 phones and like an iPad and you have all of them going at the same time, synchronized,
do it.
That's sick.
That's hardcore, but
like,
I
wow,
like it.
What is this? For those of you that have been here, you already know what it is. But for the new people, welcome. This is TH4TV, where 2 guys get too high and talk about a little bit too much TV. The podcast podcast that is not number 1 on the charts, but definitely number 1 in your hearts.
Oh yes.
I am one of your hosts, Ryan.
I'm your other host, Daniel. Hello.
And yeah, we sit down every week. We talk about some movies. We talk about some fucking TV shows. We talk about anything, just media, anything going on the screen where you plop your little butt cheeks down on the couch and you kick your legs up and watch it. That's what we fucking talk about.
That is what we talk about. It's true. It's true.
Talk about some butt cheek television.
Some butt cheek television. I love me some good butt cheek television. Here, this is not my best one anymore because I cracked out hard last night for like 5 hours, but this one was my best for a little bit.
Oh damn, that's so sick.
Yeah, it's cool, right?
Fuck yeah. That's tight.
That one's short. The other one is so the worst thing about it is just how ridiculously time consuming it is, because like I spent genuinely probably about like 5 hours straight on the fight. I did a fight for the first time, a little red stick guy versus a blue stick guy.
Oh yeah. Classic.
I'm super proud of it. I think it looks really cool. I finally started like applying some of the like motion techniques that I was learning about. But it's like maybe 30 seconds long.
Fuck it,
maybe.
Dude. That shit's fire.
It is cool. I like it a lot, but it's just I have a lot of respect, especially watching as much anime or One Piece as I'm watching right now. It's like, holy fuck, the amount of time it must take to do 20-minute episodes every week and shit.
Insane.
Yeah. Hardcore. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why animes take like so long to like fully come out and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Gosh. That's super dope though. That looks fucking cool. I remember like when I was younger, I used to love watching on YouTube. What was it, like stick figures on crack or something like that?
That shit's hilarious.
Loved that shit because they would just draw shit and then they would put like famous like movie shit
quotes.
Like,
yeah, they're funny as fuck.
Freeze,
bro.
bitch.
Yeah.
No, you freeze, bitch.
Yeah, those ones were good.
Step back, drop the gun, and give me a packet of tropical fruit bubblicious.
Yeah,
and some Skittles.
Yeah, they have the one from Grandma's Boy too at the beginning where it's like, you telling me you spent all our rent money on Filipino hookers? You're a hooker.
That's great, dude. Yeah. Stick figure animation, I love it. Yeah, because it's just so simple, and you can just make it look so fucking.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So badass.
Yeah, one of the things I want to try next after, because the fight that I made it all takes place in one shot. It's just the two of them fighting in a thing, but I want to try to apply like camera angles. Oh, you know, so like most of it will be like that, but like you zoom in for a punch and the punch takes up the whole screen, like type of shit like that. Yeah. Dang. So I wanna experiment. Yeah.
Some like locked off shots on the shoulder.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, I have, because I've been like trying to. I have 3 story ideas in my head right now that I'm pretty proud of, that I'm like keeping tight, because like I actually want to try to make them one day. But the latest one that I came up with is for an animated series. Damn. And it would be...
It's about a chicken and a peach?
Yes. Chicken and a peach. What is that?
It's from Elf. Remember in Elf when...
oh, yeah. At the end.
They're like, no, let's not do the vegetables anymore. And he's like, his best story in here? It's about a chicken and a fucking peach.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, but... yeah, I want to do an animated series that's like My Adventures with Superman. Ah. So, okay. You know, American, but definitely anime inspired for sure. Because, you just can't top anime action, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah. It's fun.
When it comes to animated
I'm so glad you're finally, like, really stepping into the world of, like...
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I think what it is, it's like, it's just been a long time since
you've been looking at the pants for a long time, but now you're finally like putting them on.
Yeah, like I just, it took me a while to find the right pair. Yeah, is what it is, right? Is it's like a lot of the other stuff that I have tried watching has been interesting and piqued my interest for sure, but like, yeah, I don't know what it is for whatever One Piece. It's just like got me by the balls, bro. Dude, it's insane. Yeah, just cannot stop watching it. It's crazy. It's stupid good. It's insanely good. It's crazy. God damn. I like it quite a bit. Have you been watching it still?
I've been watching it here and there.
Okay.
I don't know. It's hard for me to like sit down. It's not hard to sit down and watch it, but I think what kind of takes me out of it sometimes is like it does the typical anime thing where like it really builds up to a fight.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, we're going to have a side fight right here that's going to last like 2 episodes. Yeah, and then we're going to get to the real fight. But the real fight's actually not going to take place until the last like 5 minutes of that episode.
Of the arc. Yeah.
And then it's going to go, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
But like it's tight. I really like it. I think it's really like, it's just a good anime. Like I was saying last week, it's a very stark contrast from Jujutsu Kaisen, which I've been really into, which is like definitely, you know, darker, you know, a lot more crazier.
Yeah.
Whereas this is definitely like a lot more lighthearted.
Yeah,
you know, this
definitely.
Dude's just like, hey man, I just want to be a fucking pirate.
Yeah. I want to follow my dreams.
And I'm gonna bring my homies along with me.
Yeah, it's good shit.
Whereas like Jujutsu Kaisen, it's like, I'm strong.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I should save people. Use my strength to save people.
Yeah.
And what do I, you know? So it's very like Jujutsu Kaisen is very like existential and like there's a lot of like philosophical ideals that are like going on between like a lot of different characters. Yeah. And in One Piece, everyone's just like, I just want to follow my dreams.
Everybody
man.
Just says their philosophy like out front. They're like, hey, I'm going to be king of the pirates. Like, I'm going to be the greatest swordsman. It's like, I'm going to find all of the fish in the ocean so I can cook them. Like, it's like, yeah.
The deep blue, is that what it is?
The all blue.
The all blue.
The all blue, yeah. Yes. Where all of the world's fish from all the oceans, apparently.
Isn't that like supposedly like a myth?
It is. Well, I don't know. I'm not sure yet. But yeah, it is. It's a myth in the show so far. They haven't found it. The Grand Line's fucking huge
fucking
and
crazy.
It's fucking crazy.
The all blue? You're fucking dumb,
The
man.
all blue doesn't exist. I don't know. For One Piece fans out there, don't tell me.
Yeah. They like got to the Grand Line.
Yeah, they're in the Grand Line now. Yeah. It happened like a lot quicker than I thought it would, but it also kind of makes sense because like they get pretty fucking strong, honestly. Like pretty quickly. Like they start taking on some heavy duty fights and like Luffy's just like He's not invulnerable, but he's really fucking strong. Like,
oh yeah,
it's real hard to take him down. Like, eventually they get smarter about the fights, which I like, because like in the beginning it's a lot of like punchy guys or like shooting guys, you know.
Guys with swords.
Yeah, which is like fine. The swords are good because when you introduce the swords, that actually poses like a danger to him. Because like punches don't really matter, not that much. Like they'll hurt him, right? But like bullets definitely don't matter. He just like ricochets them off of his body and shit. So it's nice to see that they get creative about the types of fights too. There's also times where like they put him in fights with people who are like tacticians, and he's just fucking fucked. It doesn't matter how strong he is because he's too stupid to get to them. Like he's a dumb strong guy, you know.
Yeah, he's like, my name's Luffy and I love to punch shit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so it's good. It's great. It's nice how well balanced the Straw Hat Pirates are. I think there's like a new addition to the crew now where I'm at. Her name is Vivi, after like the original 5, and then they're about to get Chopper. Have you seen Chopper before? He's like this little reindeer who ate the human fruit, so he talks and he walks on 2 legs and he can transform into like a big giant like Hulk reindeer.
So then, like, what happens if a human eats a human fruit?
I guess nothing. It would be fine. You'd be fine. They wouldn't get to swim. They couldn't swim anymore because they ate a devil fruit, so they couldn't go in the ocean. Sucks. Yeah, but I assume nothing. Yeah,
I think that's the funniest nerf of like anything that I've watched. Of like, hey, you get this super crazy power up, but you can't swim. Yeah, like it makes sense in the world where everyone's like a pirate. Yes, you know?
But otherwise,
it's like, wow, you're
ridiculous.
A pirate and you can't swim.
Like, otherwise it's ridiculous. Yeah,
yeah, it's funny because like, I think I was watching the live action, and I don't know if I like missed it, but at one point the dude's like in the water. I'm like, damn, why aren't you fucking swimming? Oh yeah, and then like it finally like made sense. I was like, oh,
that's right.
This dude can't swim.
Yeah. The gum fruit. The sea turns its back on you if you eat a devil fruit.
It's fucked up, dude.
Yeah, it's good. I like it a lot. It's crazy.
Don't mess with the sea, man.
Don't mess with the sea, bro. Yeah, you're gonna get messed up, dog. Yeah,
would you go on a cruise? I wouldn't go on a cruise.
Yeah, I've been on a cruise before. I went on a cruise like, I think maybe the year after I was out of high school. I'm pretty sure we went to Mexico. Yeah,
I'm pretty cool off going on a cruise, honestly.
It was cool. Why? You don't like being on the ocean?
I mean, I do, but I think just the idea of being
that far out,
and literally just at the mercy of the ocean. Cool, you're on this big boat, but Mother Nature doesn't give a fuck.
Well, I will say this: I didn't do, and I also would be more sketched out about doing like a long cruise that goes like from ocean to ocean. What we did was you dock in like LA or like closer to San Diego, I think, like in between, and they go out, but then they go along the coastline just to get you to Mexico, so you're not traveling all the way across the ocean, because that freaks me out too. Like pirate journeys, like going across the sea on a fucking boat, that's hardcore for sure. I would like to try that one day, but I'm not there in my life right now.
Imagine being that first motherfucker that was like, hey, I got this boat and I don't know what's on the other side of the sea, but I'm just gonna go that way. I'm just gonna go that way and see what's up.
There's land here. There's gotta be more over there. I'm just gonna go see.
That's so crazy because back then, right? Like you think about like flat earthers nowadays, right? Yeah. Back then it was like, whoa, bro, you think there's a land over there? You're fucking nuts.
Are you tripped
You're
out, bro?
Stupid.
Yeah.
This is the entire world.
Even
right
still, if somebody did believe you, right, of like, no, there's land over there. It's like, yeah, but it's straight ahead. It's not on. What do you mean it's a circle? What are you talking about? It's over there. I can see it.
Also, just the idea of like sailing across the ocean, sailing across the 7 seas.
Yeah, man.
Just in a wooden boat,
a wooden contraption.
Yeah. You just have a little wheel. You just have a rotor that, you know, it might work, it might not. Yeah. Probably might fucking break.
Yeah.
And who knows if you're going exactly where you want to go? You don't.
Yeah.
You don't.
What's crazy
Christopher
too
Columbus didn't exactly.
He didn't. No, you have to be a skilled navigator.
And fuck that guy, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. Don't celebrate the holiday coming up right here, even though they're trying to rename it. Like,
it didn't pass on.
No, I think it's or it might be today actually, but
fuck that guy.
Or maybe it's next week actually. But yeah, don't celebrate it, even though they're trying to rename it and they're like, no, it's Native American, like Remembrance or Heritage Day or something like that. And I was like, no, it's not. That's not what it is. That's just what you want to call it now, so you can still have the day off from work or school or whatever.
You're choosing to remember the white guy that stumbled upon.
Not even America. He didn't even get here. That's it. Yeah.
He's like, hey, is this America? They're like, no.
No.
He's like, no, this It's America.
No, I thought.
Oh no, he's trying to go to like Asia. Or something like that.
And he came here. That's right. That's what it was. Yeah.
He's like, hey, is this Asia? And they're like, no, it's actually not.
Not at all. Yeah.
No, I think I'm
pretty sure.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is.
Imagine that. Like he just like really doubled down hard, and like we live in the United States of Asia now. Like, or we did all this time or something.
Like this is where I was trying to go to Asia, and I'm pretty sure I ended up there.
Yeah.
So this is what it's at.
This
is.
Okay, man.
Okay. Okay. Dude.
Yeah. You want some turkey?
Stupid.
Yeah.
You want some turkey?
You want some turkey? Yeah.
Yeah, but I have not been on the One Piece. I have been. What have I been watching? I don't even know what I've been fucking watching. I started watching Gen V because that came out.
Yeah.
Ahsoka. I don't know. Ahsoka, yeah, for sure. We do gotta talk about Ahsoka. I've just been on when football season comes around. I really just get on a really crazy like football kick where I'm just consuming a lot of sports media. So I've really been in my sports media bag.
Nice.
Recently,
very nice.
Just like, yeah, dude, Taylor Swift's taking over the NFL, bro. It's pretty
I heard.
nuts.
Meaty was telling me about that today. I was laughing.
That's so fucking funny.
I was cracking up because like she was explaining the whole situation to me or whatever, and then she was telling me how like I guess like the league like trolled them kind of where like they played like a Taylor Swift song as like the opening for like a game or something. I don't know. I heard that they did it, and like apparently media was telling me like all the ladies out there were like, Taylor's taking over the NFL, bitches.
Well, like in the
like
NFL like official like Twitter and like Instagram, they have Taylor Swift reference in their bio now.
Oh, nice. That's funny.
And like last night, because the Chiefs played the Jets, so the lowdown scoop on Taylor Swift and the NFL
dating
guys.
Somebody, right?
I don't know if they're dating. It hasn't been like specifically. They're they're in each other's company. They've been enjoying each other's company recently, right? So it all started like I think a month ago. Travis Kelce went to her concert. He went on his podcast and was like, "Hey man, I tried to give her a friendship bracelet. You know, they have the whole friendship bracelet thing going on with the Swifties or whatever. I don't know what that's about, but he's like, yeah, man, I tried to go backstage and give her a friendship bracelet, but one with my number on it. And he's like, but she doesn't see anybody before her like shows or anything because I guess she has to like save her voice or something like that because she does a crazy set. And he's like, so I don't know, man. And then like, I don't know how the rumor came out of them like seeing each other or something, but it's the rumor started, and then. Not yesterday because we're recording this on a Monday, so not yesterday, but the week before, she ended up coming to the Chiefs and the Bears game.
Oh, okay.
And she sat in the like one of the suites with Travis Kelce's mom.
Oh,
and like they were sitting there and they were just like sitting down laughing, chit-chatting and stuff. I'm like, damn, I wish I was Travis Kelce's mom because she's low-key like a celebrity right now.
Oh yeah,
because she's the mom of two sons, both have won a Super Bowl. Both are like respectively like one of the best at their position, if not one of the best all time at their position. And she's doing like commercials now with like the Campbell's Chunky Soup.
Oh wow.
She's been in like an actual NFL commercial.
Nice.
Where like because there's been like a whole thing coming out of people like, oh, the NFL scripted blah blah blah. So the NFL like took that and ran with it and did like a whole fucking commercial about they're like, oh, okay, this is your script, blah blah blah, and they're at like a writer's table and they're all talking about it, and she was in it. But anyway, so Taylor Swift was at the game last week, and she left with Travis Kelce after the game. Okay, they like bought out this restaurant or whatever, and there was like a mini like party thing that was going down there where she was there, and she was like getting a little PDA with Travis, you know, just kind of like hanging out, you know, whatever. And then come this past week, she comes to the game in New York. They're playing the Jets.
That one I saw. That was yesterday, right?
Yeah, she was with like Blake Lively.
Yeah, that I saw.
She was with Hugh Jackman, Ryan Reynolds, and I think the writer also for Deadpool, or the director was there as well.
I think his name's Sean Levy.
Yeah. And they were all there just kicking it. They were there with Patrick Mahomes' wife now, who's kind of annoying. Yeah, it's been an interesting couple weeks for football.
Interesting narrative.
Yeah, exactly. And like not the narrative that I thought was gonna happen. Remember when I told you sports are like soap operas? This is exactly like this.
For sure.
It's exactly like it. And it's just funny because like it's good for the sport of football because you're getting a lot more people who probably would never watch football to watch football.
Yeah, to check it out.
You know, and it's just so fucking, it's just so interesting, man. It was some shit I did not expect to happen, but it's funny. It's just, And it was funny because like last week they kept cutting to her like in the suite, and there was one point where the Chiefs scored, and she's like, "Let's fucking go!"
Oh, nice.
And I was like, "Damn, I fuck with that.
That's funny.
I fuck with that. That's hella funny." But yeah, she's been getting all into it. They cut to her in like the suite, and she's like, all animated, all into it and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and I was
for
like,
sure.
"Hey man, I'm here for it." But yeah, it was a crazy week for some football. Got some teams that did really good. Got some teams that didn't really do very good. Fucking Steelers are shit in the bed. I don't know what the fuck's going on with the Steelers. Their offense has not been doing good. I mean, their offense in the past hasn't really been the best, but they're just...
It's even worse now.
Yeah, in the past 3 years, they haven't had a game where they've had over 400 yards of total offense.
Okay.
Which is nowadays with how many points teams score and how good offenses are, you even have the worst teams in the league getting over 400 yards a game.
So that's like a basic necessity.
Yeah, it's just like they play a very old school style of football that just doesn't fucking work nowadays, you know? Okay. So they haven't been doing too well. The Cowboys had a big bounce back game after last week's little, they shit the bed against the Arizona Cardinals. Yeah. And they came back and they put it down on the Patriots 38-3. I liked seeing that because Dallas's their defense is on my fantasy team, so I like seeing the 2 pick sixes. I liked seeing that shit. I was there watching the game with my dad, and I was like, all right, let's fucking get it. The Niners are the Niners. They've been doing fucking super good. The running back Christian McCaffrey went off yesterday. Fool had 4 touchdowns. Fool's the smoothest fucking white dude I've ever seen fucking play football. I tell you, he's fucking pretty fucking gnarly.
Why is it? Because you know this. So like, I don't really watch football. Like, if my grandpa has a game on, then like, sure, I'll watch or whatever. But like, and I by default, just because I don't have a like favorite team, I'll just say the Niners. But why is it that I always hear like, man, the Niners look really good this year. Man, the Niners look really good this year. The Niners look really good this year.
I think
they don't fucking win ever.
I mean, so they've been in the playoffs the past few years. They've gone to the Super Bowl. They haven't, gotten over the hump and won that Super Bowl, But I don't know. I mean, just the past few years, they've looked really good. Last year, they looked pretty good, but they had some injuries like late in the season that definitely affected them. Injuries are just a big thing, like in football. Like,
that's true.
If you have a good team and you can stay healthy, like you have a very good chance.
That's the most important, or one of the most important things.
Yeah. But I mean, the past few years they've had a solid defense. Their defensive line is just crazy. They got a few dudes that just get after the fucking quarterback, and it's fun to watch. Their linebacking core is pretty fucking solid. They always have some like questions in like their secondary. I feel like they do give up quite a few passing yards, but like their run defense is super solid. Their middle of the field super solid. Their offense has a crazy, like they have a ton of weapons with fucking Deebo Samuel's at wide receiver, George Kittle at tight end, Brandon Ayuk at wide receiver, Christian McCaffrey at running back that almost doubles as a wide receiver because he's just that fucking good. And yeah, I don't know. It's just tough to win, in a professional league where everyone's really good. It's tough to be consistently good and to win, But I don't know. Like I said, this year they look fucking solid. They look really good.
Nice.
Quarterback is super young and he's looking pretty solid. I think he only had 1 incompletion yesterday, which is pretty fucking nuts. I think it's only his 2nd year in the league. So.
Oh wow, nice.
Yeah.
Almost a rookie.
Yeah, pretty much a rookie. But yeah, man, it was a solid day. They had the first European overseas game.
Oh, cool.
So they had like the Jags played the
It's like an
Falcons.
international league?
No, it's not an internet. They'll so 2 teams from the NFL will like fly overseas and like they'll play like in like England or something like that, in London. And they actually did like a animated cast on.
I saw that
on Disney Plus where they like animated it like
Toy Story.
Like in real time.
Yeah,
and it was honestly pretty fucking dope.
Yeah,
like,
I saw clips of it. I was very surprised as to how it turned out because like Ev told me about it on Saturday when we were heading to dinner, and I was like, how is that possible? I don't understand. Like I've seen behind the scenes clips, right, where like somebody's in a mocap suit and they're like doing stuff, and it's like a skeleton that like matches up with it or whatever, but even that looks wonky. So I was like, how are they going to do this?
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? I don't understand the technology going into this, but it looks very impressive. It came out really good.
Yeah, I think they all had like these little GPS things like in their pads
Okay.
that like I think is similar. I think I was listening to it somewhere that I guess it's similar to tennis. Like if you watch tennis and you watch a replay and you see the ball hitting like the fucking, they have it like super precise like that.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen that? I guess it's something like that.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know how they live animated all that shit to look like Toy Story, but
yeah, that's what's crazy.
It was solid. There were a couple times where it wasn't like the best, you know, where obviously it's the first time you're doing it. It's janky, not it's not going to be 100%, but
it seemed very successful. Like I don't know what the like longevity of that is.
I think they're just trying to tap into different markets, see how far they can expand like football itself, because they had like, I don't remember if it was last year or the year before, but they did like a cast on like Nickelodeon. Like they're really trying to appeal to that like younger like teen audience, you know, but at like I feel like generally football appeals to like in terms of like the teen range, just like teen boys.
Sure,
you know, like teen boys, like football. I love football.
Very macho masculine.
Yeah, exactly.
Sport, so
like I think now they are just trying to like have that like now that like ESPN and ESPN and Disney have always been a thing, but now that they're like ESPN app, Disney Plus, all that is like together. I think they're trying to do more shit with like more integration,
some synergy.
Let's get some kids watching like some football and really get them into football at like an early age and something that like seems interesting. Like you know, if you're like a 6-year-old kid and you really don't want to like watch football, maybe you're not into football, but you see that shit on Disney Plus and you're like, oh damn, that looks fucking cool. I like Toy Story, let's watch this.
I just feel like it would be better to just like make a movie. Like that's probably what made you like football when you were a kid, right? Like football movies, and then you watch football in real life and it's like, I don't know if I wouldn't say it was football movies. I think it was just like, I just come from a family that likes watching football. So like every Sunday we would come literally to this house right here and watch football with like, the family that was here. Yeah, it's like tradition.
Yeah. And then I grew up playing like a lot of Madden. So I like football like there. I think that's where like, I don't know. That's where like younger kids get into it, is like video games and shit like that.
That makes sense. Especially for our generation. It's like video games were a big thing when we were growing up. I mean, they have been for decades for sure, but
it's like that's why Taylor Swift is like such a crazy thing for sports or for football right now, is because they're tapping into like that teen girl audience that they've like probably never been able to like actually get a grasp on, and they're like, oh wow, Taylor Swift.
See, but okay, this
is the perfect like.
That's why I asked the question of longevity, right? Because it's like, are you gonna keep making Toy Story games so that you can keep having kids watch? Because it's not like you make one and it's fine. Are you gonna keep putting Taylor Swift content all over the NFL now? Because and the other thing beyond that is, are the fans of Toy Story or Taylor Swift interested in football, or are they interested in Taylor Swift and or Toy Story? You know what I mean? Because like I liked the Toy Story thing, but I'm not gonna go watch a football game after that.
Yeah, I think it's more so the exposure. I don't think they necessarily care about
it's like maybe they'll catch a few stray fish here and there.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the NFL is already super profitable, so it's not like they really need to expand to these markets. But it's like the fact that they have the ability to. It's like, oh, might as well.
They're gonna try.
And again, I thought the Toy Story thing looked pretty good, and I think the consensus around the internet was like, hey, for the first time, this was pretty fucking solid.
It's a very solid first outing. Like I said, I was very surprised.
Yeah, like there's that clip of Bijan Robinson like literally juking out the freaking dude, and it looks super fucking good. No,
it's accurate. It's pretty solid,
and it's like when you put it like side by side with like the live clip and like the animated clip, it looks very fucking close. So it's like, I can see that like turning into like its own thing like in the future, you know?
Yeah, I feel like I wonder how much it cost for one, and then on top of that too is like, again, like it just the longevity. It feels very I'm forgetting the word, but like it feels like a sideshow to me, you know. Like I don't imagine it lasting more than like a year. Like maybe they'll do another one here or there, and then it becomes like a yearly thing every once in a while, but I don't imagine it being like a consistent thing. Yeah.
I guess it just depends on like the numbers that come out, right? Like on how well it did, because I can see families with younger children like really gravitating towards that. Like, if you got kids and it's hard for you to watch football on Sundays, but it's like, hey, this is how I can watch
the game.
This is how I can kind of watch the game. Fuck it, let's put it on. At least it's football, you get an actual cast. Like, it's not like on some fake shit, but it was cool. That was pretty fucking cool. The Taylor Swift stuff, I feel like, is definitely more like flash in the pan. Like I don't see
that's gonna die out.
I don't see like the longevity in that. Like even this past week, there was definitely like a dip by like 4 million viewers in like
for sure
them watching the fucking sucky ass Chicago Bears versus them playing like the New York Jets, who aren't as good, but definitely in like a bigger market. You know, you would probably tend to see like maybe better numbers.
And
but
it went down.
Yeah, and especially like, you know, Hugh Jackman was there, fucking Ryan Reynolds. I think Matthew McConaughey was there. Like hella people were there.
But the biggest star out of all of them is Taylor Swift. Absolutely.
I mean, they cut to her so many fucking times in that game. Like any chance they could to cut to her, they took it.
She might be the biggest star in the world.
I think she has. Honestly, I think she's in like a new movie coming out.
Oh, is she really?
Yeah, or she has like a new movie coming out about something. I don't know, but like apparently like the first commercial like in that game, like they showed like the trailer to like her movie.
Cool,
you know?
Nice.
So.
Yeah, I saw this clip. I can't remember whose podcast it was, but it was. I think his name is Andrew Schultz. Right?
Okay, yeah,
the comedian, right? Yeah. He was saying that he thinks that she is the best performer, except for since Michael Jackson. And sorry, no, beyond that, he says she's the best songwriter since Michael Jackson, because his argument is that nobody else out there makes as many songs as she does as consistently as she does, and she doesn't get a lot. She writes all her own songs apparently too. She doesn't have a writing team. So that's kind of hard to dispute, because like, do I like other artists more? For sure I do, but I can't. I do have to bring into consideration that those are collaborative things. The fact that she's pumping out those hits by herself as consistently as she does is for sure.
I'll say I will take the greatest songwriter since Michael Jackson, because she's basically had like 2 careers. Yeah, like she's in her second career right now in terms of like music.
Stuff back for like a decade for a while,
and she has a whole catalog of music that she doesn't even make money off of because she doesn't own the masters. So now she's literally like, okay,
on the pop side of stuff.
Yeah, she's like now let me do my shit. And she's like, so I can see that greatest performer. I don't know if I can say that, because you gotta throw Beyonce in there. You can't say greatest performer since Michael Jackson without throwing Beyonce in there, because her shows are so iconic.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, her shows are an experience. Like, not that Taylor Swift's shows aren't an experience, but it's like, fuck, they're very close. They are very close. Like, whenever Taylor Swift is on tour, fuck, I see posts about that shit all the fucking time. Yeah, but it's the same with Beyonce. Like, Beyonce's been on tour, and I don't know how many fucking girls with the fucking with the silver fucking outfits I've seen, dude.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm here for it. I'm down for it.
Yeah.
But it's like, fuck, dude. Yeah, that's a tough one. I will say I will agree with the songwriter for sure. The greatest performer, I don't know if I can hop on that.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can hop on it, because you also got, I think. But like, also, what do you mean by performer though? Like, does your
I would say, for me,
does the complexity of the performance?
No, I would say traditional concert. Like, I'm not really a fan of bells and whistles. Like, my sister showed me footage of the Drake concert that she went to, and like, while I thought it was cool in concept, I was very turned off by like his little tableaus and skits and like story. Like, I pay money to watch you sing songs. Play your music live, right? So play your music live for me. That's what I want to see. So like, if you can do that with what I would call traditional spectacle, you know, lights, smoke, maybe some pyrotechnics and stuff like that, that is to me a good show, which I think both Beyonce and Taylor Swift do really well. I think Bruno Mars is also a really good performer too.
Yeah.
But I'm not a fan of like, again, like I like them in concept, but for an experience, I don't want to go to like a conceptual concert where like I spend half the show watching somebody's half-baked brainchild, quite frankly.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, it's like they were like, this would be a cool idea for a concert, let's try it. And it's like, cool, good for you, you're an artist, experiment. But I don't want to see that. I paid $250 for this fucking ticket. Play your fucking songs.
Yeah.
That's just me though. That's just me.
I think you might also have to throw like The Weeknd in there too. The Weeknd's literally done a Super Bowl. Like, I don't think
a lot of people have done Super Bowls though. I don't think you've made it to a certain status if you have done a Super Bowl concert. I will not dispute that. You are a superstar. But I'm not going to say that you're like a contender for the greatest of all time just because you've done a Super Bowl.
I'm not saying every person who's done a Super Bowl is a contender for greatest performer.
Yeah.
But I don't think you can count out certain people that have done the Super Bowl.
But what does he do on stage though?
He does some cool shit.
He does this.
Fuck it, dude. I'm down. I'm fucking here for
That's
it.
the part I'm talking about because Taylor Swift, Beyonce, and Bruno Mars are all to what I consider a lost type of star, and even they don't all hit all three. But there's no more triple threats anymore. Back in like the 40s and 50s, superstars had to be triple threats, which is you need to be able to dance, you need to be able to sing, and you need to be able to act. You did all three.
I think you got to throw Tyler the Creator in there then. Have you
sure,
seen,
I'd be down for that. Yeah, that's fine. He's pretty good too. It's definitely like, I would say he would go in a different category for me because he's a non-traditional star. I think he like actively refutes the idea of a superstar. So he's like the best like anarchist star performer or whatever. I could put him in that category. But traditional performance, like you have a really well choreographed team of dancers that you also work really well with, and you can sing all of your shit live the entire time. You don't have to have a band. You don't have to have like the backup stuff.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like that's the kind of stuff that I look for in a concert because like, yeah, I don't know. I just think when those superstars charge as much as they do, you should have a certain level of like quality of the performance.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
1000%.
Because you have to pay a lot to go see these motherfuckers. A lot.
Yeah.
And I've heard sometimes people like I've heard this more at like festivals, to be fair, not necessarily like tours and stuff like that, but I've heard of like big name people getting like fucked up on stage and just like stopping their concerts, like just weren't the whole Frank Ocean thing like that who happened. Like I don't know what happened in terms of like with him personally, but I thought it was kind of crazy that he was just like, nah, I'm not gonna do that anymore. I know everybody worked really hard for like months and months, but we're just not gonna do that. Like
there was
that
even
kind of shit's crazy.
There was even a Drake show where I think it was at Camp Flogna.
Yeah.
Where I forget what year it was, but like Tyler was saying like, oh, like there's like this special guest performer. I'm not saying who it is, but it's a special guest performer, and everyone was like, "It's Frank Ocean!
Oh
it's gotta be Frank Ocean!"
Yeah.
But then it ended up being Drake.
Yeah.
Because Tyler Creator's a big ass fucking Drake fan.
Yeah.
And Drake was playing like more of like his no, I wouldn't say his B-sides, but
not the big hits.
Not like super crazy big hits.
Sure.
But I remember he was playing one, and the crowd was just like not down for it.
I remember that. They like booed him off, right?
Yeah, and he's just like, "Hey, if you don't want me to fucking be here, like just tell me." And everyone's just like, "We will have Frank Ocean." And he's like, "All right, fuck it," and just dip.
Yeah.
See, for me, I think, I don't know, I would probably dip too. Like if they're just like if I'm there, I'm giving like, and I'm a superstar like Drake.
No, for sure.
And I'm taking my time out to be there. I'm not there for like, not saying he's not there for the fans, but like being there for Tyler.
Yeah.
And the fans being there because of Tyler. The fact that you're there and you're not just like, you're not into like what Tyler's putting on for you.
Yeah.
I'd be like, yeah, fuck you guys.
See, that's why I'm saying that like I could, cause like I don't like his music really. It's not for me. Like some of the older songs are like near and dear to my heart. Cause like I used to listen to them on K-Don all the time, but like I don't really like Drake that much.
I might be too strong. I don't compliment. Overdose on confidence.
Yeah.
Not to give a fuck.
Yes.
Stop me,
like anything in like, you know, when I was from the ages of like 10 to like 14 probably.
Consciousness and they say
I would have been down
back.
for it.
I agree with that. I had someone tell me I fell off. Ooh, I needed that. Oh, dude, that was crazy. That was a fucking crazy one. I'm pissed. I hated that song in middle school because now when I like listen to it now, I'm like, fuck, this is crazy.
There's certain things like that. You like try to be cool when you're a kid.
Oh,
so there's certain things you're gonna hate on that you know you liked even when you were a kid, but then when you get older, you're like, oh yeah, I was stupid for pretending. Like I like that thing.
Yeah. But all right, let's get on to some like newsies type of stuff because we've been here sitting here jibber jabbing talking, and I like the jibber jabber section of the podcast. That's what I like. But let's get on to some movie news type stuff. First off, did you see that there's going to be an Office reboot in the works?
Oh yeah, I heard about that. Yeah, I don't. You know,
what are your thoughts and opinions?
I think it's fine. I think everybody forgets that the Office that everybody loves so much was a reboot. Like it came from the British show first, you know. So it was already a remake. So I think it'll be fine depending on who the writing team is. But I think that's the same as any other project. Like it for sure has a different level of like expectations, which is gonna go against it. But that's just the unfortunate part of like how we are as consumers now, I don't think that's the fault of like the people who are going to be involved with making it. They have a very tough uphill battle for sure.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, like when I first saw it, I was like, okay. I've always said that there's one show I don't want to be remade and I don't think can be remade, and I think it's The Office because of the time period it came out, and there's so many jokes that I don't think would fly nowadays, you know? And I don't know, it's just one of those shows for me that is so iconic that it's hard to be like, oh yeah, let's just remake this. Granted, it was like literally the first season is just a carbon copy of the British one.
Yeah.
But like once you get into that second season, it's very much its own show and it did its own things, right? So I don't know. I personally don't need a reboot, especially like it's not that long ago that it ended, you know? Like I don't even think, has it been 10 years since it's ended?
No, but again, like the American one was very hot on the heels of the British one too. Like I think they ran simultaneously as well. And like my biggest thing is exactly what you just said, which is that the format of the show is not exclusive. Like The Office is not, contrary to popular belief, The Office is not Jim and Pam and Michael Scott, right?
Yeah.
Like it's the format of the show that both the British one and this one have already adapted to fit their own workspaces. I think the main thing that they're going to have trouble trying to figure out now is what is the common workplace that people are going to relate to. Like what is the Office now? What's the modern day Office? And I have a feeling that's where like you're probably going to lose some audience members because it's probably going to be updated. Like it's probably going to be modern. They're probably going to be working in like some kind of tech office, or like maybe they produce like Kindles now instead of paper or some shit, you know, like Dunder Mifflin has like evolved. They don't sell paper anymore or something like that.
Dunder Mifflin and Sabre.
Oh yeah, I like Dunder Mifflin, the people person's paper people. That was my favorite, dude. But yeah, I personally think it's a very adaptable show because again, like I think, what does The Office even mean? Like for us, again, it means Jim and Pam and Michael and fucking, I was gonna say Rainn Wilson, fucking Dwight, right? But like for a whole nother audience in the UK, that's not true. So
Yeah.
it is possible. It's been done already that you can do another series of The Office and have it be successful. I'm not sure. It's been in other countries too. I watched, like I had a hard time because like I couldn't relate to any of it, but I watched the first episode of I think it was an Indian version of The Office too.
Okay.
So like it exists. It's been done plenty of times. They just need to find out what the modern American Office is, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I think I'm not the most down for it is just because like to me there's already a new Office show and that's fucking Abbott Elementary. Like to me that is like the newer show that is in the style of The Office, that mockumentary style filming or type of show that is, it's to me it's the updated Office. It's something new. It's like, okay, we're seeing it in a classroom. Yeah. Like it's a whole new type of cast. Like we have an all black cast versus like, you know, just a bunch of white people, you know, which I think is great. Yeah. And I don't know, to me personally, I don't need an Office remake this fast or like a reboot. Like I also want to know like what does reboot mean? Like are you literally gonna just reboot the entire series and literally try to redo it again just with an updated
I don't think
cast?
that they're gonna have the same characters. I think it's gonna be a new, like I said, a new Office space. Like I don't think they're gonna try to recast Jim and Pam and Michael and like retell that whole story again because that's stupid. I don't think even execs are dumb enough to reboot a comedy sitcom series like that because that is destined to fail no matter what you do. Like that, it doesn't matter how good your writing is, you could be the funniest of all time. Like nobody's gonna sit and watch 10 seasons of that shit again with different actors. So I do think it'll be different. Like I think it's gonna be a new cast of characters for sure. I would hope so anyway. Yeah, because it would be super weird if they tried to recast Michael iconic and all of them. Yeah. The other thing they can do as well, which is very, very common in this day and age, is it's a continuation. Like you pick up with everybody and maybe they all happen to, I don't know, start a company together. Maybe Michael buys Dunder Mifflin and like they all get like high level like CEO board jobs now, you know? So it
He's
is
like,
all the
now
same
this
actors.
is the Michael Scott paper company.
Yes, yeah. So maybe it is all the same actors, you know, and it is all the same characters and they come back. I think that would be super popular. That's a much safer bet than trying to like make a brand new show for sure. But I don't know. We'll have to see. I think it's unfortunate that like I feel bad for reboots because like a lot of the reboots that I've been seeing like in the last few years have potential. And I think people forget that like because we have such long standing histories with like franchises or like MCUs or offices or this or that, we're like, no, we know how great they can be. So it needs to be that level or we won't accept it. Not realizing that it was probably still kind of shitty in the beginning when it actually first started. It had to find its footing as well. Like some stuff in The Office season 1 is not that funny. Like it is really super offensive, not even just like the offensive humor that The Office can do. Like here and there, you know what I mean? So like it is unfortunate because expectations play a pretty heavy role in like how accepting we're going to be of something like that for sure.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but we'll see.
I don't know.
It's not gonna. I think it's gonna take a while. It's probably not gonna come out for like at least 2 or 3 years.
No, it's coming out next month.
That would be bad.
Next month on HBO Max.
Even if I heard it was coming out next year, I'd be like, ooh, that seems a little rushed.
Yeah, just like I said, like I don't know what like when they say Office reboot, I think I just need like more information on like what do you mean by a reboot?
Yeah.
But just from like immediate reaction, I was just like, I don't know. Like I would like money invested in, again, it could be just a completely new show like you were saying, but I would like to see money invested on like, hey, we have this brand new show coming out. Maybe it's from the same person that created the Office. Maybe it's not, but it's like, let's try something new. Yeah. You know? Yeah. And I think that leads us into our next topic of Martin Scorsese on the hot seat again. Yeah. I mean, he didn't necessarily say he doesn't fuck with Marvel movies or comic book movies. But he's been like...
he says it pretty plain.
No.
I think he does. He pretty much... He basically calls them, like, not cinema, which I can agree with. Like, I don't think they're high art or anything like that, you know? But I think it's just a little bit funny. That's all.
Well, I think his thing, because I've gone back and I've watched a few interviews with him, and he's been saying this for, like, years now. Yeah. Oh, yeah. But I think his thing is, like... He has this view of cinema, of what cinema is and what cinema means to him. Yeah. And that is like, you know, you watch a Martin Scorsese film, it's like, it's these one pieces of art that are these narrative pieces on like these characters, like and stuff like that, you know, that dive really deep, you know, are really like hardcore and like the angles, the lighting, all this stuff, you know, which is probably when he was growing up, that's what cinema was. It's like, hey, if you want to make it in this business, you got to create a meaningful piece of art. Yeah. Not saying that comic book movies aren't, right? But I think his main thing is what he's getting into is like franchises. Like he doesn't fuck with franchises. And his whole main thing, he's like, okay, maybe I don't like, you know, comic book movies or I don't watch them. He's like, but they're a whole different type of like movie now. Like it's almost its own genre. He's like, I think the phrase he said was like theme park type stuff where it's like you know, it's like, it's a good thing, you know, it brings people to the theaters because it's a whole different type of experience that we're used to in terms of like a movie, you know, like we have these huge, big universes now that like we didn't get like 20 years ago, you know, 30 years ago and stuff, you know? So I think his whole stance is it's harder for someone like him or like a Chris Nolan who is on like a smaller level than they are that does like quote unquote indie movies to get like any sort of traction from like studios and stuff like that, because like people aren't going to the movies to watch indie movies anymore because they are so caught up in like this whole big franchise of like, you know, this is what we're used to and stuff like that. Yeah,
but they're also not indie movies, because like an indie movie is an independent film that like I would consider A24 indie movies, because that's like a smaller, removed from the Hollywood circle studio. Chris Nolan and Martin Scorsese all made their movies based off of the exact same wave. Well, maybe not Chris Nolan, but like Martin Scorsese, because that's the thing that makes me laugh so much, is it's like I understand what he's saying, and if he's talking about the quality of the films then I can get behind his argument, because I'm not going to sit here and say that like anything in Marvel really is like as good as something that Martin Scorsese's done. Like if you want to be an objective film critic, absolutely, Martin Scorsese makes better movies. But like, I think it's funny that he's criticizing this, like, yeah, the studios are just jumping on a wave, because like he did the same thing with mobster and Italian gangster movies for like a decade as well, where like those were like a lot of the movies that he and everybody else in his film circle were making, because that's what was popular. When he was a kid, people made a bunch of cowboy country western movies because that's what was popular. And again, like, if you're making an argument of like, okay, the quality of this film versus the quality of that film, again, absolutely no argument. But if it's purely off of like what this is doing to cinema, like, it's fine. It happens all the time. It's just superhero movies this time. That's all. Like, it will also probably pass at some point or another, and people will go back to like true cinema or whatever you want to call it, right? But I just think it's a funny argument, because like, it's just it reads to me very much as like, okay, he's just a little too old now. Like, he's in the older guard of like not maybe having the wisdom to have those nuggets of golden truth, but also not being in touch enough to be like on the ground at the same time. You know what I mean?
Well, I think he's very aware of like, there is like a revolution going on with just like anything cinema or media related right now, right? Like now instead of like sitcoms and stuff like that on TV, we are seeing like more long form shows on like streaming services and stuff like that, which like he's made a point to like that's its own thing. Like it's not necessarily cinema, but that's its own thing. And I think it's important. I think that's like his main thing is like, look, big franchises like your Mission Impossibles, your Fast X's, your Marvels and all that stuff. Like, what's going on is like when you go to a movie theater, when those movies are in theaters, like it's very hard for a different movie to get in somewhere and have multiple showings when you have like something like a Mission Impossible that has fucking 15 showings like in every single theater that whole day, you know? And like, this is a conversation I was having with like my mom the other day. I was really tripping out, like, you know, we went and saw The Creator, which we'll talk about later, like opening night, like on Thursday, and that only had 2 showings. And I was like, that's crazy, because like it's been very well like publicized that this movie's coming out, and I would figure like, you know, something that's been like publicized this much, like with the whole robots going to the football games and stuff like that, you would figure there'd be like more showings on that opening night. You know, maybe not like 10, but like, you know, maybe 4, maybe 5, right? But then the next day I was only like, damn, there's only like
a couple,
5 or 6, like, and it's such a trip. But like when you go and watch something like Mission Impossible, that had like 10 or 12 showings, like on like there was literally a showing every single fucking hour like of the day. And it's like I think one of his arguments was like, kids now are like growing up and seeing these franchises, and like that's what they think movies are, right? Which is like, that is like a certain section of like movies, right? But you shouldn't have this like overload of like, oh, this is what movies are. Movies are the super big universes that like, you know, every single one connects. And it's like, nah, like movies can be cinema, like a Killers of the Flower Moon, like a Wolf of Wall Street, like a freaking, like Interstellar, like an Asteroid City, where they are these single pieces of work that these directors, these writers work very hard on like crafting this one single piece, you know? And it's not like, oh, we're gonna pump this movie out because we got to get this movie because like we got to explain this stuff that goes on, to the next one, you know? So it's like,
that part I understand. I just think it's funny again, because like I find it to be very cyclical, because like the franchise interconnected expanded universe is definitely like the new like devil of like cinema, you know, like the thing that's trying to like kill cinema or whatever. But again, like, this has happened so many times.
It's
like,
just your modern day like 80s action movie
that's
stars.
all it
like,
is.
In the 80s, it was Stallone. That's all it was Arnold.
There's
it was
plenty
all
of
these guys.
People
you know?
who are adults now who still think that's what movies are. They also didn't expand their range to look at other stuff, and so like that's just why I think it's funny. Is it's like we're at a point now where like so many different types of media can be successful because of how many consumers there are in the world. I think it's kind of silly to like try and tell people what the proper form of a medium is, because like by its very nature, cinema is not just Martin Scorsese movies either. It's not just Christopher Nolan movies. It's not just Wes Anderson movies. It's not that. It's a wide, huge range of things that is, I make this argument all the time, 1,000% subjective. You don't think about why you like a movie or not until after you like the movie. That was like this thing that I heard on a podcast recently, which is like, and I like the argument, which is that like instinctively we decide like subconsciously whether or not we like something. The reasons that we'll tell somebody why we do or don't like something afterwards are afterthoughts. It's like us trying to explain our like emotions that just come out naturally for a film. And like some people don't fucking like Martin Scorsese movies.
Oh yeah.
Some people find fucking boring. Some people find Christopher Nolan movies boring. I like both of those directors a lot. I think they make great works of art. But again, I just find these types of conversations in general pointless, because it's like, why? Who cares? Like, and the other thing too, I told you when I texted you the other days, it's like the timing feels very convenient to me, because like I think the last time he said this was like right before The Irishman came out as well. So I think it is also just like maybe a little bit of publicity of like, hey, all publicity is good publicity. I'm gonna say this shit again. People are gonna have my name in their mouth a month before my movie comes out.
Yeah, I mean, but I also don't think he's like going out there. Like, I don't think he's the type of person that's just gonna be like, yeah, I'm gonna say this shit about comic or like just franchise in general because it's gonna get a click. I think it's more so he's said this before.
Yeah.
So people doing these interviews are like, oh, I'm gonna ask him about this because I know it's gonna get something to where I can like quote my article like, oh, Martin Scorsese says this about Marvel movies. Because I've gone back and I watched a few interviews today. He's been very adamant that like it's just like franchises in general, like just like dilute like what is the art of like a singular movie, like as soon as you come out with like a single movie, it's like, fuck yeah, let's make a second one. It's like, well, what if that person didn't want there to be a second one?
Yeah.
But the studio's just like, nah, we want a fucking second one.
Yeah, sure.
And that's the whole thing about him is like why he left Warner Brothers is because they wanted to turn The Departed into a franchise. And he's like,
no thanks.
He's like, no, I'm not down with that. And I think that like to me, I think franchises definitely dilute the success of like a single or even like a sequel. You know what I'm saying? Like you can have like two movies that are like super good, like a Fast and the Furious and then a Too Fast, Too Furious, where people are like, oh yeah, these two are really fucking tight. And then you maybe have like a Tokyo Drift in there, which is like, oh yeah, people fucking like this. But now when you get to Fast fucking 10, which is going to be into part fucking 2, it's like, okay, how much of this can we really like endure and how much can you milk this fucking cash cow? You know what I'm saying?
I think I could see. So this is why, again, I think I bring up like the cyclical thing, and I just keep laughing about it. It's like I could see this being the argument like 4 or 5 years ago, but now, especially this last year, like this whole franchise has been doing, like franchising has been doing the exact opposite of the argument he's making, which is that people are now tired of the monotony, and are going to support things like Barbie, like Oppenheimer, like whatever, right? Asteroid City. I don't know how much money it made, but like other movies are now getting more traction again because people are getting tired of it. So like, yeah, I don't know. I think it's funny because it's just the same thing that cheesy 80s action movies were. It's the same thing that Western movies were. It's the same thing that gangster movies were. Like, it's just a fad. It just happens. Like, within all of those genres that I just mentioned, I personally believe that there is a lot of variation that you can have, right? Like, not every gangster movie is the same. Not every 80s movie is the same. A lot of them are, but every once in a while, you do get some differentiated ones, right? Not all superhero movies are the same. So, yeah, I don't know. I just find it funny to try and, like, pit the problems of, like, cinema on, like, one particular genre. Like, I don't know. I think it's funny. Like, because the other thing too is it's like point that message at the right people, which is the consumers. Like, stop saying like, yeah, the studios won't do this and the studios won't do that because superhero movies are too big. It's like, no, the studios won't do this and the studios won't do that because we always buy superhero movie tickets. If we stopped buying those, they would stop making those movies. So like, if you were one of those people who are like, oh God, I'm fucking so fed up with like all these superhero movies, but you still go watch them, you're part of the problem, man. Like you can't, like that's why they keep making them, because we keep buying tickets for them regardless of whether they're good or bad. And like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Because I like them either way. Yeah. I have a very low threshold for being entertained by like cheesy superhero pulp shit. But I just... Yeah, I don't know. I'm tired of all of these like lofty people debating these things when it's like, it really just, it depends on us at the end of the day. It's really just where we spend our money at the end the all.
Yeah.
So who cares what they're saying? Like,
it's what the people are going to spend their money on.
If you want to change, then then we can change it. Like, it's actually pretty easy to do. It's not that hard.
Yeah, true. Yeah. Very true. Very true. But yeah, I mean, I'm ready to see some Killers of the Flower Moon. I'm excited for that shit
I'm
to
excited
come
for
out.
the movie, yeah. That's another reason why I think like I am maybe a little bit disappointed is it's like I'm not going to be so butthurt that I'm not going to go watch the movie, right? But like you might have some fans out there who are fans of the movies he's talking about who wanted to go see your movie but are so sensitive and ridiculous that like when they see, oh, Martin Scorsese said Marvel movies suck again or whatever, like, fuck you, I'm not going to go watch your movie. So it's like, why, I don't know. Why do you gotta, if provide a solution, not a problem,
That's true.
You know what I mean? That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, Martin Scorsese, man, to let us know, do you agree? Do you disagree?
Yeah.
Again, I don't think he's actually ever come out and said and been like, Marvel movies fucking suck. He has been like, hey man, like comic book movies aren't for me. And yeah, I don't go watch those.
And that's the other thing sorry, go ahead.
But I think his side is more so on like just franchising.
Sure.
In general.
Yeah.
Franchising, diluting what is like the art form of just like creating a single piece. And now if you're, again, like you might have a franchise like a Harry Potter, but that's tied to like a really good overarching story that, little pieces and groundwork is laid within those each individual like books and movies, etc. Yeah. But like I think the problem comes once you like have one movie that is like, okay, good, this is a good single movie, and the studio's like, hey, yeah, that was really good, let's make a second one and a third one. And it's just like, hey man, I kind of didn't want to make a second one and a third one. And they're like, actually, nah, we're gonna do it. But
it's because we watched
It's because we fucking watch it.
It's because we watched Harry Potter. That's why. It's because they saw how much money we spent on Harry Potter, and they're like, oh, they want 7 movies for everything they watch. Look at how much money that made.
Hey, they were fucking great. I'll tell you that.
They are. They
were fucking great.
That was the other thing I was gonna bring up too, because it's like I find it like funny that it doesn't seem like he watches any of the movies that he's like talking about. So it's like, as a concept, sure, I get it, right? Like, you don't like franchising, but it's like, how do you know, though, if you're not actually watching them? Like, that seems...
I think he's more so, like, aware of just, like, what it's doing in general to those people that make those one-off movies that maybe aren't getting the opportunity to make more of those movies because studio and consumers just want to see... I'm not saying just want to see, but we are so used to seeing these big
type of thing.
Yeah, this certain type of thing. These whole universes like all fleshed out and stuff like that. Yeah. Like, like even me nowadays, like I'll fucking watch a movie. I'm like, damn, I want to know fucking more about this. But as I've been thinking, I'm like, maybe that is like the cool thing about these one-off movies is like you can watch them and then theorize what you think fucking happens like
in
after
their world
them,
or whatever. Yeah, to the characters and whatnot. Yeah.
So I mean, personally, I agree with what he says. Like, I have been very vocal about like when I watch a Marvel movie or a show, I'm like, damn, this maybe isn't the best it could have been. This has a super big budget, but it looks kind of cheap,
Yeah, sure.
And like, I am a big, like, I really have been falling in love with like these deeper stories. Like, again, I do love a good comic book movie. I do love a good Marvel movie. I do love a good action movie where I can go and just kind of sit and, like you said, be at like a theme park and kind of just enjoy what the fuck is going on in front of me. See these super big like action set pieces that I probably wouldn't have seen, if we didn't have, movies like Iron Man and stuff like that so successful, But I also love like going and watching a movie like The Creator or like Babylon, where it is this more like, again, like a narrative piece on like, hey, there is this specific story that we're telling. Yeah. And pay attention and listen throughout like this dialogue and what we're showing you and stuff like that. I've been really enjoying shit like that. So I'm on his side of like, hey man, I want to see more of these in the theaters, and I want to see them equally like advertised like the rest of these fucking movies, you know? Yeah. If freaking Tom Cruise comes out with a new fucking Mission Impossible movie and that shit has fucking 10 theaters, I want another fucking movie that is quote unquote like indie, right? To have the same amount of love, you know?
Yeah. I just think the other thing too that I wonder is it's like, what would happen to Hollywood if that really happened, right? Because it's like you need like as terrible as this sounds, you need your McDonald's and your In-N-Out and your Carl's Jr.'s and your Burger Kings to bring
Hey man, don't lump in In-N-Out with Burger King and McDonald's.
Sorry,
right?
my bad. But you need all those fast food chains to bring in gigantic, fat, ugly sums of money to keep the machine going so that you can have a capitalistic world where you can have fancier restaurants and stuff like that. Movies are the same thing. Like, you need those blockbuster, let's be honest, sometimes shitty movies that are just fun to watch to make an assload of money. Yeah. So that more movie companies can continue to make movies. Like, I don't know. I don't fully disagree with what he's saying. I think he's a silly old man.
Old man.
I think he's a silly old man, to be perfectly frank with you. I really do. But I respect the movies that he's made. I think he's a phenomenal film director. I'm very excited to see Killers of the Flower Moon. And I'm just going to treat his comments in the same way that I think of him. Just the old guy talking his old shit.
He's just a silly old man.
This is what I ask myself, right? Is it's like, if this was just a regular old dude, not Martin Scorsese saying that stuff, would I pay attention to what he said? Or would I be like, I don't really care. I'm just going to like what I like because you're of a different generation. And that's kind of how I treat it. Like, yeah, you made some good movies. I appreciate that. But you're old.
You're an old man.
He is. It's okay.
He's all silly how?
Silly how? He just
how am I silly?
How are you? Oh yeah. How am I funny? Huh? Funny how? Funny like a clown? Huh? What are you trying to say? Huh? No. I mean, I didn't mean it. Like, well, no. Funny how? Fucking funny how? Huh? You call me a clown? You saying I'm hilarious to you?
Dude, I love that. That shit's so funny. I was actually in like today like. I was like, okay, I need to learn more about what Martin Scorsese has said about this shit, right? And in that, I was just started watching a movie where he's watched a video where he's talking about, you know, like movies that he's made, blah, blah, or whatever. Yeah. And the interview asked him about that, like, oh, was that like improv? And he's like, kinda, but kinda not, you know? He's like, Joe Pesci told us this story about how something like this, like, actually transpired. Okay. So, like, we worked it in there, and we did, like, you know, cuts here and there. So it is, like, a little bit of improv, but it's like, it was in the script, you know?
Yeah. And the idea was there. They just kind of
the fact that Joe Pesci actually had the interaction where he told someone, fucking funny how.
I could totally see it. I could see
funny
that.
How. Yeah. Oh, so I'm a fucking clown, dude?
Yeah, I could 100% see that being a real thing that would happen to Joe Pesci. Easily.
Oh, my God.
Very easily.
But yeah, so while we're on the topic of like movies and cinema and writers and great directors, we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about the fact that the WGA and studios have reached a tentative agreement, which basically means they're going to sign some fucking papers and we're going to get some fucking shit,
Writer strikes are pretty much done. God damn pretty much done, yeah. Yeah, I think, I'm curious to see what, and quite frankly, how much they'll divulge in terms of like what these agreements are, you know, because I doubt we're going to get to see like the actual papers that they're going to sign and stuff that. But yeah, I'm curious to see what they came to, what kind of agreement was reached, and how it's going to affect like writing, just like creating movies and TV shows and stuff going forward.
Well, this is a quote from the WGA itself. They said, "We can say with great pride that this deal is exceptional, with meaningful gains and protections for writers in every sector of the membership." And I think that's just a great quote to just kind of sit with and be like, all right, like I have a good outlook on what these could mean, because up until this point, like all this shit has been like, yo, the studios didn't give us what we fucking wanted. They actually like lowballed us and they gave us a pretty bullshit deal. So now we don't fucking sign shit. So we're still going to be on strike. Yeah. And for them to be like, no, this deal was fucking great and what we fucking wanted. Yeah. You know, I think I'm happy, you know?
I'm happy too. I don't know if it's the cynic in me, but I find that very suspicious. The fact that we're on months and months of the studios being like, nah, fuck you guys. And then all of a sudden they're like, nah, this deal was great.
But I think also is like, because there hasn't been the last writer strike happened like I think the early 2000s. And that was very much the infancy of the internet. You know, it wasn't as like huge as it was now, where there's just entire discourse, like these huge, like crazy discourse, like, you know, with everybody in the fucking world at one point. Absolutely. But I think now the fact that it is so widely publicized about what's going on, I wonder if like maybe the studios are like, damn, we can't really hide the shady shit that we're fucking doing now, because everyone in the world just fucking has access to whatever, you know,
what's happening. Yeah.
So I wonder if they were like, all right, I guess we got to just give you what the fuck you want, because if we don't, people are just gonna fucking know.
Yeah,
you know?
Probably.
So I don't know. Let me see what the fucking. Let's see what they got here. A writer can choose to use AI when performing writing services if the company consents and provided that the writer follows applicable company policies, but the company can't require the user or the writer to use AI software, ChatGPT, etc., when performing writing services. Nice. Additionally, the WGA reserves the right to assert that exploitation of writers' material to train AI is prohibited by NBA or other law. So they can't. So studios can't use this stuff,
material.
Yeah, the stuff that the writers write and feed it into AI so they can come up with. So the AI is
smarter, basically.
Yeah, they can't fucking do that shit. So I like that. I think that is definitely one of the biggest questions that was being asked, like in terms of this, was like, hey, what is AI gonna play into all this? Because, you know, you have people that are like, oh, I fucking put this into AI and it spit this out and it was pretty good, you know. And I think that was like a big talk for a while of like, oh, are the studios just gonna like use AI to pump out these bullshit scripts and then just like, you know, put these movies into production that aren't as good as like an original person writing these fucking original works, you know. So I'm glad to see that. I want to see more on like what they're gonna do like residuals wise, because I don't think anywhere on the internet I saw anything about that on like how residuals are gonna work with like the whole streaming and everything like that.
I imagine that's the stuff they're probably gonna keep private. I don't think they're gonna like expose their dirty laundry about like the money aspect of stuff. Like I don't think we'll see a figure.
They're like, this is actually the money we were keeping from them. You know?
Maybe we will, but I doubt we're gonna see a figure or an article where somebody's like, a writer gets this much for this, and that, blah blah blah. Because I also doubt that the writers want that kind of information public as well. Like, that's their own personal livelihood, you know what I mean? Maybe they do, maybe they don't, I don't know. But I
would imagine like in the coming weeks, as like all the paperwork is getting finalized, lawyers
get leaked for sure.
It'll probably get leaked.
There'll be rumors and
we'll get to fully understand. But I think that's also like if like the biggest questions were AI and how a writer is going to be properly compensated, you know? And I think that's just the one that's yet to be answered. But again, I think from the quote of like, this is an exceptional deal and like, we're happy with this. I feel like they definitely got like a way bigger cut and like, hey, okay, we'll give you like the actual residuals that you deserve. Because it's like, you know, streaming is a big thing. You know, we're never privy to the like, you know, the streaming details on like how much a stream is worth or how many people are streaming and blah blah stuff like that. So hopefully the studios were just like, hey man, we'll fucking pay you, all right? Tired of being pieces of shit.
I mean, as long as it happens, that's all that matters. That's why I said like I think that's the part that like they'll probably keep private, because like it doesn't matter whether or not we find out as like a general public. Like we don't need justice. We just watch the shit.
I need justice.
We just watch the shit. As long as they get paid properly and they're happy with what they're getting, that's all I care about. Like I don't need to know the details.
I would like to know. I'm a little nosy.
Surely I would like to know, but I just think because like I do very much feel that in the air right now of like there's just this kind of like breath of like, okay, but like what's the deal or whatever, and it's like, why it doesn't affect you? It doesn't. Why? Like I get it, we want to know things because of like the interconnected internet society that we live in, but like why can't it just be we're gonna get our movies and TV shows back?
That's true. That's true.
It's cool, and hopefully the writers making them are happy doing so with the circumstances that they're doing them in. So
yeah, I would love to like, I don't know, because this happened pretty recently, like within the past week. So I'd love to hear like, I'm gonna go through and find some interviews on some specific writers and like see if they have like come out and like said anything on like on any of this shit. Because I think again, like I'm just a nosy person, and I hold that, you know?
Yeah.
And I say with my chest, I say, yeah, I'm a fucking Metichi, bro. I'm nosy as fuck.
Yeah, I want to know.
And I want to know shit.
Yeah.
And so that's just like me of like, fuck, okay, I want to know how they're getting compensated. Because I also want to feel good when I'm watching this shit and being like, okay, they are being properly compensated and my support isn't like not doing anything. You know what I'm saying? Because like...
Yeah. I mean, we're still feeding the end of like autonomy as we know it by streaming stuff all the time. But you know,
I want to know at least my streaming is worth something, you know, because I support you guys and I want you guys to get my support.
I want you to know I love you. Okay? I love the stuff you make, and I want you to feel good about it.
I want to know if I'm properly supporting you. All right.
Yeah, that's fair. But again, we're definitely not. If we pay for streaming services at all, we're not.
Hey man, I paid the $4.99 for iRobot to buy it. All right.
I did. Oh, I didn't buy the movie. I rented it. I paid $3.99 to rent it.
I was gonna do that, but then on Amazon I was like, but you could buy it for $4.99.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, maybe I'll throw this on in the future.
I'm glad I didn't buy it because I don't think I would watch it again.
No, I probably would have watched it again.
Yeah,
but
it's not as cool as I remembered.
It's funny.
It is funny. It's definitely a 2004 movie for sure. Yeah.
All right, shall we segue into our movies?
iRobot.
Actually, wait. We need to talk about Ahsoka. We haven't fucking done that
we
yet.
do need to talk.
So
about
we
Ahsoka.
will talk about episode 7 of Ahsoka.
Yes.
We'll give ourselves what?
10 minutes.
10 minutes? 15 minutes?
Sure, 15. I'll put a timer again.
Let's go 15.
Yeah, let's do it. Yes, episode 7. We pick up. Where does it start? I was struggling to remember what happened in the episode because like all of the last few episodes have kind of become a blur, to be perfectly honest with you.
Yeah.
But where we start with...
Well, I think that episode 6 ended with Thrawn learning that Ahsoka's on his way.
Yes.
On her way.
Yeah.
So episode 7, we pick up with Ahsoka and Hu Yang.
Yeah.
When they're in the ship and they're like, okay, I think we're fucking getting there. You know?
Yeah. Well, there's also the stuff in the very, very beginning with the New Republic.
Oh, yeah, with Hera.
Which
and
I
that
thought
dude,
was,
that's a fucking bastard.
He sucks, but I really liked that scene because, like, it's not. It's more. I think it's more fan service than it is like instrumental to the plot. It like ties up a plot hole for sure of like Hera doing quote unquote illegal things in the New Republic. Like she's pardoned now, she can do whatever she wants, so it's fine. But I just liked the world. Feel of it, of like being in a New Republic council, having C-3PO come in as a liaison and basically drop the hammer of like, nah, Mama Leia says you let her do whatever her rebel ass wants to do. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, exactly.
I was like, yes, this is good shit. That's what I want to see right there.
Yeah, that was cool. I liked it for like, I like seeing all that. I like seeing the C-3PO cameo. I did like it for the world building of the sense of like, we are really getting to see through like the Mandalorian and all these different shows of how negligent the New Republic is of like, oh no, you think the Empire's gonna rise up again?
It's fine. Nah. Yeah.
But then Hera's like, nah, dude, like
Thrawn's like here.
I've seen some shit, bro.
He's probably coming back. Yeah. No,
like, nah, you just disrespecting orders.
Yeah.
And he's like, nah, I disrespected you.
Yeah,
which is fucking great.
I told my dad because like I saw this in a post on Instagram. I haven't watched the show. It's called Resistance. It's like an animated series that takes place right before the new trilogy. But I took solace in knowing from this post that fucker gets kidnapped at the beginning of that show. He's like the dad of the main character, and he's like kidnapped the whole show.
Fuck that.
So yeah, I was like, fuck you, man. You suck.
Fuck that, dude.
I'd also like to see that like they're cleverly placing it in the time frame that we want to see things in, right? They can't give us Leia anymore. They can't give us Luke anymore. They can't give us Han anymore. But they found clever ways to still include them of like, no, Leia's here. She's just so fucking important now that like she can't even be here. Like,
see, here's the thing. I think they should just recast all those. Like, I get like, I think they should. I think they should like, they're characters that are essential to the world of Star Wars because they started Star Wars. We wouldn't have the Star Wars we have today without the success of the original trilogy with Luke, Leia, Han. And when you think about it, we've probably gotten the least amount of them on screen out of any other character in fucking Star Wars, and they're probably some of the most important characters in Star Wars.
I mean, I agree with that. I'm not going to dispute that. I just think that, like, For one, I personally would only like to see them recasted in like some type of origin type thing. I don't really want to see somebody cast as like an older version of the character unless it's Sebastian Stan as Luke Skywalker. But that's only because he looks exactly like Mark Hamill, basically. But the other thing that I think too is that like actually casting those characters, I personally think is a mistake because either A, they still focus on Ahsoka and Sabine and Ezra and all these newer characters. These not like they're goated in their own respect, but they're not goated in the same way that the original trio is, right? So you either have them on the sideline and people are going to complain because it's like, well, why isn't Luke fighting? Why isn't Leia doing this? Why isn't Han doing that, right? And then they're wasted because you still need the show to be about Ahsoka. It can't be Luke Skywalker and Ahsoka, right?
Yeah.
Or you just don't need all these wonderful characters that we have, and you tell this story the way it was meant to be told, which is with them going up against Thrawn. So it's like it's one or the other, you know what I mean? And I personally am happy with the fact that we're branching out into more characters outside of like the immediate Skywalker family. As much as I do love them, I'm glad that other people are getting their chance in the spotlight to like take the torch forward, you know?
I agree, because I have been very vocal and like, hey, let's get some new Star Wars stuff.
Yeah.
You know? But I was just thinking about the other day, I'm like, fuck, bro. Like, those four, you know, Luke, Leia, Han, Chewie, are so integral to
Star Wars.
Just Star Wars.
Don't forget R2 and C3PO.
And exactly. Yeah. But
they're in everything.
Yeah, they're in everything. Yeah. But out of those four characters that literally started Star Wars, we've gotten the least amount. We've gotten more fucking Boba Fett.
It makes it mythical, though.
It does.
Actually, I don't think that's technically true. Because Boba Fett's only in like 20 minutes of the first trilogy. So if you go by pure screen time, they're probably equal. But I do hear what you're saying. Because
it's like, how cool would that scene have been if like, C-3PO's there, but Leia's also there too. And she's like, actually, I gave her the orders, you know? And it's just like a little cameo piece that is like, that like, I feel like the Mon Mothma piece where she's talking to Hera about Thrawn, if, you know,
Leia actually walks in.
Yeah, if Leia actually walks in, that conversation would take place with Hera and Leia and not Hera and Mon Mothma. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like, again, it's cool. I love C-3PO. I love the little, hey, Senator Organa actually, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
But I think it would be cool if the characters were recast, because we love the characters. We do love Mark Hamill, and we do love Carrie Fisher. You know, we do love Harrison Ford, but we also love the characters of Luke, Leia, and Han. So I think it would be nice to see them, you know, the torch passed on to different, you know, characters, because it's like, how many different iterations of Spider-Man have we got, you know?
That's different.
And we love to. It's not.
It is.
It's not.
Yeah, because Spider-Man is not an original property in film. Spider-Man has been recasted plenty of times because he gets drawn by different artists and written by different writers all the time. Like, that's part of comic books.
But in terms of just like passing the torch on to someone else, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
I think it would be nice.
I do see where you're coming from. I think the unfortunate thing is that like they already tried to do that when they did have all the actors alive, and it just didn't go well because people were not very receptive to the sequel trilogy. So like doing it again, especially casting a whole new bunch of characters, I think is just like too little too late for me personally. Like, it's just a little too late. Just a little too late.
And I can't wait.
Like, all right. Yeah. But anyways, after all of that stuff happens,
then we get with Ahsoka and Hu Yang. Yeah. And Hu Yang's like, hey, we're about to come up. Yeah. And we see some explosions going on. And then the fucking whale opens its mouth. And they're in a minefield now. They're on set up a fucking minefield.
Pretty hardcore.
And like the whole like cemetery of like the freaking Purgles and stuff like that. And so they're like, oh, fuck. So they get out of there.
Yeah, pretty intense.
Yeah. And then we go over to Sabine and Ezra.
Yeah.
And Ezra's like, the Empire fell? All this happened?
Yeah.
That wasn't my favorite, you know. I would have liked to have seen the reaction of when Sabine's like, hey, you know the fucking Empire that was fucking ruling over us? Yeah, this is what fucking happened. I would have liked to have seen that. You know, again, we do have to get the exposition of like, oh, hey, this happened and that happened. But I thought it was kind of just like, what? the Empire fell?
Unfortunately, I think that was the reaction. Like, I think that was the conversation, you know? Like, I don't think there was conversation prior, and Ezra just like, so wait, let me get this straight. Like, I think, because the other thing, too, that I don't think I dislike it about the show. And I think it's purposeful, right? But, like, I dislike about Sabine right now is it's like she is being way too light about the matters at hand right now.
She's just super nonchalant about
being
everything.
Really fucking dumb right now, and it's pretty annoying. But
you should be a little more chalant right now.
A little more chalant, please.
You know? You're very nonchalant right now.
Your chalant level needs to go up by like at least 3 points. Okay,
we need to raise those levels right now.
But yeah, she's just like super uninterested in like anything because she has Ezra back, which is, you know, understandable. But it's just unfortunate to see a character that you like so much make such like a bad mistake.
Yeah.
And on top of that too, like maybe it's just the pacing of this episode or whatever, but I'm a little bit underwhelmed in terms of like how worried the main group is about what's going on.
It's been 2 episodes and Ezra knows nothing about how they're getting home. He's just like, I can't wait to go home.
And then even when Ahsoka shows up later, which we'll get to, she's like, I'm just happy to see you, bud. It's like, no, Thrawn is coming back to destroy the New Republic. Get the fuck out of here.
Exactly.
Tell the boy what's going on and dip. What are you doing?
He's like, what was it, the 6th episode? He's like, I'm excited to go home.
It's
and then
crazy.
This episode, he's like, I'm really excited to go home.
Crazy,
and then they're both just like,
yeah. It's a little bit too like happy-go-lucky for me. I do want the stakes to be raised a little bit. But yeah, I think that's about all we're getting.
There's stakes in the background because you as a viewer understand what's going on, but the stakes would be heightened if the characters also understood.
Yes.
Well, Ezra understood what was going on.
Well, that's what's unfortunate, right? Because if it was just Ezra on his own, I could understand this approach of like, oh, he's goofy and like he's been out of commission for a while. He doesn't know what's going on. But Sabine and Ahsoka both know fully well that like Thrawn's about to come back to fuck shit up. So
I guarantee you we're going to get a spot, like a section and like a dialogue between like all 3 of them, and Ahsoka's gonna say something and Ezra's gonna be like, what? And then Ahsoka's gonna be like, you didn't tell him, like something along those lines of like, I can't believe you didn't tell him, blah blah blah, all this. But yeah, I thought this episode was pretty cool.
I did too. I liked it a lot.
It was nice. I feel like definitely a dip from like the last few, just because I think the things we were talking about of like, I don't think our characters aren't really displaying the level of, you know, sort of urgency that we would like them to see.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, so it kind of is just like, oh yeah, they are happy-go-lucky. But I thought a lot of the action stuff in here was really cool. Like the chase scene with like all the freaking what is it, the no-T in their freaking like little RV little shell things. I thought that was pretty cool.
That was great.
Seeing Sabine whip out her fucking blasters and blast some fools was pretty tight. Getting to see Ezra fight with the Force was super fucking sick.
So cool.
Because I always felt like that was a thing we never saw enough in live action of like people using the Force. It's always just like, oh yeah, I just know how to use the Force, but I'm just not gonna use it. I'm just gonna fight with my laser sword.
More often than not, the Force is used as like a narrative tool than it is for like that's like what the lightsabers are for.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's pretty awesome.
But it's like all these Jedi have this super powerful you know, ability, and none of them just use it. But Ezra's like, oh no, this is all I've had since I've fucking been here. We also still don't know how long he's been there. How long has it been? Like 10 years or something like that?
I think around 10 years, because this is... Actually, no, I think it's been longer, because Ezra disappears, I think Rebels ends like 1 to 2 years before A New Hope starts. And then the trilogy takes place over, I think, like 5 or 6 years, if I'm not mistaken. And then Mando starts like 6 or 7 years after Return of the Jedi. Yeah. So it's like at least 15 years, probably close to 20.
Fuck yeah.
Because he was a teenager and he's like a full grown man now. So yeah.
So homie's just been honing his Force abilities. And that's when we see him and Sabine have this really sick fight with Shin, which I love anytime Shin comes on the fucking...
Yeah, she's great.
You know,
she's a cool
awesome.
Character. I like her.
She's a great character. We also see a really good fight between Ahsoka and Baylan. We get to see their second fight. Probably gonna have a third in this last episode. But yeah, it was fucking... So it was a really good episode. I'd probably rate it like... the last one we said was like a 9. I would say this was probably like an 8.5, you know? maybe like a 8-7, still hovering around that 9, but again, still some narrative things where I'm just like, hey, I want to see these from my characters. You know?
I still give it a 9 just because like it doesn't seem too out of character for the world of Star Wars for me. So like, as much as I would have liked it, it's not like unexpected, I also am trying to give it points because the last 2 episodes we got really, really spoiled.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I think my like expectation meters are like fucked when it comes to Star Wars stuff right now, because I got to see Anakin Skywalker for like 2 straight episodes. So that I'm also trying to keep into consideration, but like I would still give it I don't think any episode that I've seen so far is like under a 9. Honestly, I think it's a really solid show. Nice. I think it's a very impressive show.
Oh yeah,
it's very good.
I would also say I liked that we got to see a little more tactician Thrawn.
Yeah,
with him showing like the whole like, oh, we have this many people and mapping it out.
So
and being
let
like,
me show you how I see it.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool. Like, really adds depth to his character. He's not just this like dude who seems smart. He actually is super smart. He's showing
and
you.
He's not just telling you either. He's like, let me show you how my brain works.
Hey, big thing on this podcast. We're really big on showing.
Show, don't tell.
Don't tell.
Please.
Yeah,
please.
I hated show and tell.
Yeah, but now I love it. Apparently.
I'd rather show you and not tell you.
Yeah, yeah.
But
tell me certain things that you can't show that make sense to tell me. But if you can show it, you should probably show it. Film is a visual medium, so it's better to read it through the eyes.
Yeah. But hell yeah. That was our episode 7 review.
Some Ahsoka.
Exactly. Next week, we'll have the full-on finale review, and we'll give our thoughts on the show as a whole. But yeah, I'm excited for episode 8. Is there anything that you want to see out of episode 8? In the finale that you have yet to see?
Just like, as much as I am expecting perfect timing. As much as I'm expecting a cliffhanger, I want like some sort of satisfactory resolution to the things that have been set up this season. But that's about it. I just don't want a Across the Spider-Verse thing where like I feel like, fuck, man. Don't leave me that
little blue
hard,
balls.
bro. Don't leave me that hard, bro.
Little blue balls.
Yeah, that's all. That's the only thing I don't want. But otherwise, I've been blown away, and all of my expectations have been shattered by this show. So I'm hopeful that the season finale is going to be cool.
Hell yeah. I think I'm on the same boat. I just want to see a good, like, definitive end to this season if there is going to be a season 2. But that's still, fine, like, if there are some breadcrumbs for the season 2, like, I'm fine with that. Yeah. But like,
wrap this shit up.
Yeah, give me a definitive ending to this chapter of the story.
Either have like I either want to see Thrawn quote unquote win, right? Like,
I think he is gonna win.
I do too. Like that would be a satisfying definitive ending for me. Of like, oh no, Ahsoka, Sabine, and Ezra are stranded in the other galaxy. The rebels don't have a warning that Thrawn, not the rebels, sorry, but the New Republic doesn't have a warning that Thrawn's coming back.
Hey
and
man,
he's
once
back
a rebel,
in the galaxy.
always a rebel.
Yeah, except for that one douchebag.
Fuck that dude.
But yeah, and then Thrawn shows up in the new galaxy and is like, all right, now it's time for me to conquer. Like, for me, that's satisfying because that's the narrative plot thread that you started with of Thrawn coming back to the galaxy. But like, I don't want, like, if they shoot off into hyperspace and then it ends, I'm gonna be like, fuck you, you bitch. Like, don't do that. Like,
Ahsoka's like, Ezra, it's time to go home. And then they just go home.
It's over. Yeah, or some stupid shit like that. Yeah, like, I want to see something satisfying. Yeah. But I think they'll deliver. I think, they've been doing well. So.
Also, give me some final shit with Shin and Baylan. Obviously, this is the last episode that we're gonna see with Ray Stevenson as Baylan. So he's probably been my favorite part. Like, aside from like all the Anakin stuff, like probably my favorite thing about the series is getting to see someone like him. Yeah. Getting to see a new Jedi, like a different type of like dark Jedi, dark side user that I think, like, as the community as a whole, we've collectively wanted to see something sort of like that, you know? And finally getting to see that and getting to see someone perform at such a high level has been so rewarding. And I just feel like, spoiled kid when I see shit like that.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. Yeah, we're super spoiled right now.
So
we had some real good shit.
Yeah. Hopefully the finale tomorrow is A1.
I'm also not ruling out that there is still like uncut footage somewhere that they can use later to like have him in flashbacks in season 2. Like I don't think it's obviously not gonna be full-blown new shit or anything like that, but if like Shin continues to be a character in season 2, I could very much see them like pulling some unused dialogue nuggets of him being like, hey, don't forget this, you got to do this with the Force and blah 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 blah, like maybe she remembers back to it or something. I hope so anyways, because like I would like, even though there's obviously no way to do it other than the thing that I think we've generally agreed upon as public audiences we don't like, which is like resurrecting dead characters with CGI, even though sometimes we do like it and then sometimes we don't. But I think without going that far, that's like the only way you can do it. But I would like to see him remain a presence in the show somehow.
Yeah.
Is what, like, whatever way that needs to happen, because he's great. He's a really good character.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, Ahsoka episode 7. Let us know what you think down in the comments. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Was this your favorite episode? Was it not your favorite episode? What was your favorite part of the episode?
Yeah.
Exactly.
What was your favorite minute of the episode?
Exactly. Give us a timestamp. Be like, you know what? This right here, this was where it's at. This is the point
seconds only
where a tear dropped.
Yeah.
From my left eye, tear ducked.
Whatever 60 seconds you want, but only 60 seconds.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, shall we move on to the AI portion, the scary portion of the episode?
The robotic nature of our shit.
Domo arigato, Mr. Roboto. Domo domo. Domo domo.
Starting with iRobot, yeah.
Exactly. There were just so many parts in this movie where I just like laughed and was like, damn.
It's not like awful, right?
No,
it's not a terrible
It's a product
movie.
of its time.
Yes.
It was like, wow, The Matrix came out?
Yeah.
Holy shit. Let's try to do some Matrix type stuff without being The Matrix.
Oof, yeah, that's a really good comparison. I didn't even think about that, but yeah.
Because, it's funny because I was thinking about it. These movies try to do the same thing.
Yeah.
Where take this narrative of like AI being sentient and is AI human or is it not human?
Yeah.
The creator goes the better way of really diving deep into that and really exploring that.
Yeah.
And this one's just like, like that stuff's cool, but we're just gonna be an action movie.
Yeah, well, the other thing too is like they also take place at very vastly different times within like an AI revolution, right? So like I will say that the genre fits the time frame that they chose to explore it in, because when the robot revolution happens, that should be an action movie. 20, 30 something years later, after what we'll get to later is the accidental robot revolution that wasn't really a revolution, and like people have been dealing with the aftermath, that makes more sense to explore like the psychological narrative, like character stuff or whatever, you know what I mean? So like I will say that the genres fit. Like if this was too philosophical, I would have hated it even more, because like that would have just been obnoxious, you know what I mean? So it works for what it is. It's just not like it's not great.
Yeah, no, I was just saying it's funny because like there are points where you see the movie trying to steer in that more
with Sunny,
like let's go deeper into this philosophical type shit, but then it's
there's
just
a
like
couple that are okay.
There's a few like when Sunny is there and like he is talking to like Dr. Calvin or whatever.
Sunny's actually good.
Yeah,
he's just not in the movie enough.
Exactly. Like I said, there are points where it's like, okay, we are gonna kind of dive into this philosophy a little bit. But then we're going to come back and we're just going to be an action movie, you know? Which is like, again, it's a product of its time, right?
Yeah,
like it's not like, I don't think there is anything like even The Matrix like isn't super like philosophical and like, oh my God, you know?
When was the last time you saw those movies?
I haven't saw it in a while.
Those movies are about Neo being Jesus.
Okay.
Bro.
Yeah.
Those
Okay.
are hardcore.
Like, but it's like, I don't know. Like
no,
again, like a big part of the Matrix though is like the whole
the
cool
action.
like the action and stuff like that.
Yes.
Whereas
definitely.
this, like I said, this like tries to go into those like, what does it mean to be human?
Yeah.
But it's just like
it barely scratches the surface.
Yeah.
Like it's not. Again, it's not bad because like it's an attempt at least. Like it's deeper than other action movies for sure. It's just when you watch it directly off the heels of something that like explores this concept so well, it falls even shorter than it probably would have.
Yeah.
So it is. We should have watched this before going to see
the
creator. I probably would have liked it a little more, honestly.
Exactly. But to give a little blurb about
what's it about?
The iRobot. In 2035, highly intelligent robots fill public service positions throughout the world, operating under 3 rules to keep humans safe. Despite his dark history with robotics, Detective Del Spooner, crazy ass fucking name, investigates the alleged suicide of U.S. robotics founder Alfred Lanning, played by James Cromwell, and believes that a human-like robot played by Alan, how do you say his name?
Tudyk,
murdered him, who plays Sonny.
Yeah.
With the help of robotic expert Dr. Calvin, played by Bridget Monahan, Spooner discovers a conspiracy that may enslave the human race. Again, like, tries to get into that, like, deeper, what does it mean to be human and stuff like that, but then it's just like, oh no, we're just gonna be the regular, like, AI tried to take over the fucking world and stuff like that, you know?
The other thing too that's like really disappointing.
Oh, and Del Spooner is played by Will Smith. If you guys have never seen iRobot, never seen anything about iRobot, this movie is starring Will Smith.
Okay, so I'm gonna say this before like we get into the meat and potatoes of talking about it, is like I am personally kind of like done with Will Smith. Mm-hmm. I don't really like enjoy.
Don't talk about his wife, bro.
I don't really
keep her name out your fucking mouth.
Fuck
right?
Jada Pinkett Smith.
Oh,
bro.
Jesus Christ.
She's crazy too. Sorry, dude. I don't give a fuck. That whole family is a little bit scary to me, quite frankly. But that's neither here nor there. I just personally am kind of done with like Will Smith as an actor, entertainer. I haven't really liked him for like a while. Mm-hmm. So going back and watching him, especially in something that's like not even his best work, like what I can admit is like his best work, is definitely a tough pill to swallow, because like he was the worst part about the movie for me. Yeah. To be perfectly honest, like they like have this weird, unsatisfying twist in the movie where like Will Smith's character fucking hates robots. Like he's hardcore fucking hates them. Like to the point where like I think they're trying to mirror some kind of like weird reverse racism thing. You know what I mean? I got hints vibes of it, because it's like, oh, a black man is racist towards the robots. I was like, okay. But for one, he's wrong, because they're not evil. They're not. So it just makes him actually a racist. Yeah. And then for two, they pull this weird twist out of their ass at the end to try and make it so that he was right, but he's still not really right, because like it turns out that like Vicky, the AI thing, was like really the one like controlling the conspiracy all along. But it's like, without her, all the robots are nice. Like they just want to help humans.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
He is wrong. Like they're not evil creatures or anything like that, you know? So it's just, his character, I think, is written to be this like broody, like on the edge detective kind of guy. Like I don't give a fuck about the rules, you know, like very 80s. But then the story and the themes they're trying to explore are like trying to be a lot more like high mind than that, so they clash very hard. When the doctors and stuff are trying to be like, the robots might have this like secret code that like they dream and stuff like that. And
he's all, fuck the robots.
Yeah, he's like, fucking, you fucking canner and shit. Like it's like, dude.
Okay. I'm glad you were also getting the slightly racist vibes in this, because I was like, I hope this isn't just me, because it is like,
there, bro.
Yeah, they came up with canner. They're like, okay, what's like a slur
with
that we can come up with?
Bro. He didn't say canna.
What's a slur we could come up with and throw this in there? But yeah, it was.
I just thought it's very surface level. Like I like the idea as a concept, right? But just don't explore that in an action movie, because you don't have time. That's not what your movie's about. So it's okay. Yeah. Leave it at the door.
Yeah, this was an all right movie. I think the 7 rating, like the 7.1, is very like around the ballpark where I was thinking, right?
I give it a 6. But yeah.
Like it's not the best movie. I would agree that like Will Smith was not my favorite part of this movie at all.
He's just too cheesy, bro.
He is, and there's just like moments where it's just like, fuck, bro. Like
you're really doing a lot.
You're just really doing a lot, but also doing the least at the same time. You know, like
it doesn't seem like he's bringing his A game. I will say that.
Like the detective stuff felt like pretty fucking cliche. Yes. Like when they're investigating the robot lab, and he's like, and he just picks up the freaking the stool, and then like slams it into the glass. And he's like, see this glass right here? Like no one could have just ran into it and then fallen out. You know.
Also, like the other thing too that's annoying to me is it's like none of his like clues make any fucking sense. Like people just tell him the names of children's stories at certain points, and he's like,
you never read Hansel and Gretel?
He's like, oh wait, breadcrumbs.
Dude.
The doctor must have left me clues, as if I haven't been looking for clues this whole fucking time as a detective.
Okay, I was watching that,
what?
and I was so confused when he would say breadcrumbs, and I'm so glad that, like...
I was like, you've been looking for breadcrumbs,
I was like, this
bro.
makes no fucking sense.
No.
I was like, this makes no fucking sense.
It was just really lazy writing to try and make him seem like a smart detective that was, like, uncovering all these mysteries that are not a mystery. Like, you know what's going on, basically, the entire time, until at the end of the movie they just change what's been going on, and they're like, nope, the AI did it all along.
Yeah. And like even the action stuff with him wasn't even like the best.
It's so
the action
bad,
stuff
bro.
with Sonny was so much better.
Oh, that was good. The robot shit was cool.
So much more of that. But yeah, it was like you just get the regular Will Smith. Ah!
What I hated was
and
like,
just like
what I didn't understand was like, I get that he has a robotic arm and that it's like the future, but the levels of like, I mean, I'm even saying action in like quotation marks, like action that they go to in this just gets like zany. Like it just gets cartoony. Like when he's in the tunnel with the cars and he like spins hella hard and he's just like helicoptering down the highway and shit under the, like I'm like, what is even happening right now? I was not a fan of the action sequences in general. You are right, the Sunny ones are cool. Like the robot stuff is nice, but
the one action part that stood out to me, I was like, this doesn't like, okay, like a lot of times in action movies things don't make sense, but there is this part where like the car where he's driving, like when he's in the tunnel and the two big ass trucks with the freaking
trying to corner,
they corner him. And then he like at the end he like flips over. The windshield is knocked out. And he slides head first, hella hard into like this cement fucking pillar.
He'd be so dead.
I'm like, dude, this dude's fucking dead.
Yeah, he'd be so dead.
Like I don't care if your arm's a fucking robot. You're
like,
fucking
cover
dead.
From the spark, yeah, for sure, he'd be dead. Yeah.
And he just gets up and he's like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, I feel like what it is it's like we will accept outrageous scenarios in action movies so long as we want the character to live, right? If we like the character, we love John Wick. John Wick's a great character. So when he bolts out a second story window, slams into some bushes after getting shot like 4 times and then gets up and is like, ugh, Keanu, and just like keeps going, we're like, fuck yeah, John Wick, you survive. It's cool, right? But when you don't like the character and he's getting out of ridiculous scenarios like this and stuff, it's like, what?
Yeah. Again, I think it's also a product of coming out after The Matrix. And The Matrix, like, the whole trilogy had come out at this
time. I think they was done by 2003.
Yeah. So, like, by the time this comes out, it's like, okay, let's try to do some Matrix stuff. Yeah. But
they're all, like, he's in leather practically the whole movie. He even has the leather Converse, which I thought looked cool. I did like the shoes.
I like the idea of that, like, this being the future and the Converse like being a classic shoe.
Yeah, they're vintage.
And like, yo, no one sees those. And like his boss is like, hey, those are some nice shoes.
The other one too, okay, like there's just times where the world doesn't really make sense to me because like there's a point where they do it for a gag. It's like a joke where the doctor, what's her name? Dr. Calvin, I think, comes to his house to like check on him after something. And they're like roughly the same age. Yeah. They're not like, it's not like a huge age difference. But she walks up to a CD player and she's like, on.
Oh, dude.
Run.
I was like, okay.
Program. I'm like, you were around when probably mixtapes were a thing. What the fuck are you doing? Like, you would have been a kid when CDs were, this takes place in like 2030 something.
2035, right?
Even if you're only 30 years old, you would have been around when this shit was a thing. Like, This moments like that where they like break the reality that they've set up in the movie for like a joke or a gag or an action sequence or something just like hella took me out of the movie. Like I'm all for stupid jokes. I'm all for crazy action sequences. I'm all for the main character getting out of ridiculously hairy scenarios. But like for one, it has to be likable. And for two, it has to like somewhat fit within the world that it's in. When it breaks its own rules and its own logic, it's like, what? I don't care anymore. This is dumb.
It was it was kind of, again, there were so many times where I just like laughed in this fucking movie.
It's just cheesy.
It's just super cheesy.
Super
like there's
corny.
like I think after I can't remember if it's after he fucking gets in the accident, but he goes to Dr. Calvin's house.
Oh yeah.
And he's like hella bleeding. She's like, oh my God, what happened? He's like, it was a Thursday. And I was like, God damn it, shut up.
Oh
bro.
God, I know. I know that line. He's like, he walks in and she.
And also just walks into her house. She doesn't invite him in.
And he also pours himself whiskey or like some kind of drink that she has. And
he
she just doesn't say anything about it.
He goes to her house.
Yeah.
She opens the door and is like, oh my God, what happened? And he just walks in. He's like, huh, it was a fucking Thursday.
They didn't know each other at all. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, the line's even dumber, bro. She asks him, she walks in and she's trying to be snarky. And she's like, huh, have you ever had a normal day? And he goes, yeah, once. It was a Thursday.
Yeah.
And it's like, I hate you. Who wrote this movie?
Dude, yeah, it was. And even like in the beginning, right? When after he sees his mom or his grandma, and the grandma gives him the pie and he's like walking and he tells, like, he sees the robot running, right? And he's like, hold my pie. And I'm just like,
yeah. What does he say?
First of all, why are you just walking with a whole ass pie and eating a whole ass pie?
Yeah. Like, again, like they tried to make him this, like, doesn't give a shit about the rule, does whatever he wants, like
I don't care about the rules, man.
Yeah, no holds barred, classic kind of fucking detective or whatever, but like it's just too cringy. It's like a little too cheesy. And like, again, like you said, like the choices that they make of like rebellion are dumb. Like nobody walks around with a whole fucking pie, no matter how cool you think you are. Like that's not a cool, like edgy detective thing to do.
I like how also everyone just thinks he's fucking stupid.
Well, he is. He's stupid.
Like his boss is just like, you're fucking dumb.
He is dumb. Like that's what I think is funny is it's like the movie does not do a very good job of like vindicating him as a character. Like for most of the movie, everybody's telling him like, you're kind of psycho. Like you have an unnecessary hate towards robots. Like you're
racist.
Yeah, you're racist. You're paranoid. You're tripping balls. And then the end of the movie comes and it's like, oh yeah, he was all of those things. That is true.
Yeah.
And he didn't really do a whole lot to learn his lesson other than like that's what happened in the movie.
Yeah, I hated that the like twist of the AI being evil because it's like you're just feeding into that.
Yeah.
You're just literally feeding into it. It's like, oh, see? The robots are fucking evil, man. Yeah. Robots are just here to fucking take over.
It's so stupid. Yeah, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It's not the most fun.
Even the end when fucking Dr. Calvin, like they're having the final fight and there's all the robots.
Yeah.
First of all, you're not fighting off all those fucking robots.
No, they'd get him so easily.
Dude, that shit was stupid.
I could buy him surviving a little bit longer because of the robot arm, but not by much. And certainly not both of them surviving as long as they did.
But when fucking Sonny finally gets there and he's calculating like, oh my God, I gotta say blah blah, and he's like, save the girl.
Yeah,
I'm like, because obviously at that point we figured out the reason he hated robots was because he was in some accident, fell off a fucking bridge or something, went into the fucking ocean, and there was a car next to him that also went into the ocean that had a little girl in it. The dad had already like passed out. Yeah. And so it was just a little girl. And the robot that was passing by, there was a robot passing by, jumps in and saves him. Yeah. And he's trying to tell her, like, get the fucking girl. And she obviously doesn't. And he just, like, remembers that scene, you know, obviously. But it's just like, damn, bro. This saved your life.
Okay, the other thing I was going to say about that, too, is, like, yeah, for one, be grateful. Like, he did save your life, right? For two, it's kind of fucking weird when you really think about it. Like, don't get me wrong. You would be scarred if you saw something like that happen. I'm not saying the trauma coming from that would not be real, but I thought I remembered in this movie that he was telling the story that way for the most of the movie, and then when the reveal comes, it actually turns out that it was his daughter. It's not.
Yeah.
It's just some random girl, and he keeps her fucking necklace, bro.
How did he get her necklace?
I don't know, but it's fucking weird that he has worn that shit for like the last however many fucking years that it's been. Like, mourn your shit, have your trauma, whatever, but do not take a stranger's fucking necklace, especially a 12-year-old girl, and wear that shit around your neck. Like, that's weird. That makes him a weird, that's not like a tragic backstory thing. That's just kind of fucking creepy if you ask me. I thought it was really weird. I thought it was funky.
Yeah, he's not the most lovable main character. No. Not that you have to love every main character,
no,
right?
But he's not even that.
He's not even likable.
No, like the thing is it's like even characters that you don't like, you like to not like them. Yeah. And I do not like to not like Will Smith's character in this. Yeah. I just don't like it.
Yeah, he's just unnecessarily mean to these robots.
He is. And to people, too.
Yeah, and to fucking people. Yeah. He sucks at his fucking job, apparently.
Really does, yeah.
Yeah, it was... Yeah. It was not the best movie.
No, little too much. A little too corny, a little too cheesy.
I thought the thing that was trippy, though, was like the cars they were driving just reminded me of Teslas. Now that we have like automatic, like just like self-driving Teslas, I was like, wow, we were pretty much like, we're there already. Yeah. You know? Yeah, and we still got another 12 years before, you know?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. I mean, I could see that being a thing, you know, at one point or another. I think people are pushing for that now as it is. Like, just let a computer program logically drive you everywhere and accidents will never happen again or whatever, or like they'll come down at least.
I did like that he was like manually drive, and then Dr. Calvin was like, oh, you're not like you drive by yourself, blah blah blah. Yeah. And she's like, well, the turn was back there.
yeah that part is funny too. I also think it's like kind of dumb because like these cars are not going like, these are like bullet train speeds. Like, they're not going even like no way 90 you have those or 100. Reflexes. Nope, that fool would crash in an instant. But again, I'm not willing to forgive pushes on the reality because I don't like the character. If that was John Wick, I'd be like, yeah, John Wick can do that 100%. You know why? Because I like John Wick. So I will accept that he can do crazy things. I don't like Spoon. What about
Spooner?
What about fucking Shia LaBeouf being in this movie for like 2 scenes, bro?
And him just cussing hella?
Just being a horny little teenage kid.
Oh shit, yeah, bro.
Yeah. Oh, she's hot as shit, Spoon. You gotta hook me up with that, bro.
Or he'll say like, she's shit hot, man.
She's shit hot. That's what he says. Yeah. Damn, she is shit hot, man. You gotta give me a chance.
And him leading like the rebellion of like the people against the robots. Let's go.
Yeah. So
and then them just getting their ass kicked.
Yeah, because you would not survive against an army of robots. Yeah. Ridiculous, but funny. It was nice to see him. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, it was not the best movie, you know.
No. Yeah, what do you have any other thoughts on it?
Not really. I would like to have just seen more of Sonny because I thought he was the best part of this movie, and they were just like obviously like they probably couldn't do a lot with that back then, but I thought they did a good amount like with it. Like
because his stuff,
the movements looked pretty good. Like they did. Like the only thing that looked like quote unquote robotic was when he like ran and he just had that generic like.
But it works though.
Yeah, but like, it
works for the character. Yeah, I agree with you. I think that's the biggest miss. But you're probably right. It just wasn't in the budget to include him that much.
Again, like with him, they were touching on those deeper topics of like, what does it mean to be human? And if you have just sentience, doesn't mean you're human, blah blah. But it's just like
it's scratching. It's scratching the surface of like what the creator really dives into. Yeah, which is like at first. I was hopeful because in my mind when the movie started, when iRobot started, I was like, oh, maybe you can watch this movie as like an indirect prequel to the creator. You cannot. No. Not in the slightest. You cannot at all. It is not even close. But I was hopeful at first. I was kind of thinking like, oh, maybe like this is right before the bomb went off in LA, you know, and like shit went down.
The other thing I was wondering, like, unless I completely missed it, they don't really explain why he has a robotic arm, does he? Do they?
Oh, yeah.
Is it from the accident?
It's from the accident. Okay. It's not explicitly stated that it's from the accident, but they tell you that he was in the accident and, like, they hint at it. And then at one point you see it actually is robotic. And then when he's talking to Calvin at one point, she sees him with, like, the obligatory shirtless scene. Mm-hmm. And she's like, oh, I had no idea. Can I touch your masculine muscle body or whatever? And then she comes over and starts feeling him up. And it's like all of his left side and like a lung. Like his whole arm is all robotic. And I think one of his lungs is too. Damn. It's super throwaway, but apparently, if I understood it correctly, it's a program within this world that's for injured cops. What do they call themselves? Like USR or something like that, right? Mm-hmm. That's what it is it's like when you like sign up to be a cop or whatever, like in the waiver that you sign, it's like, we need you as an officer of duty. So if you're fucked up, we're going to use robot parts to make you better.
That's crazy. Yeah. Yeah. I didn't remember that.
It's super quick, super throwaway. I barely gleaned those details from like the little bits of dialogue that they had during that scene. So I do not blame you for missing it.
Because I went the rest of the movie being like, so they just didn't explain.
He just has a robot.
He just has a robot arm, and he was just like, "Yeah, I hate robots, but I have a fucking robot arm."
Yeah, that was like I wanted them to do more with that because like then that could have been an interesting idea, right? Of like, oh, maybe it's like a self-hate sort of thing where it's like maybe he did something, maybe his robot arm malfunctioned and like he lost control.
That scared me.
Hey. Ooh. Maybe like his robot arm malfunctioned, he lost control and like killed a human or something. So like he hates robots because the part of him that is robotic like lost control. But no, it's just like no, he has a robot arm because he needs to punch things really hard at one point.
Yeah,
like,
just randomly being like, "Oh, I'm super strong."
Yeah,
as well.
Yeah, like it's like right after the car crash sequence is like when you first really see it. Like he's kind of like touching his arm the whole movie and stuff, and he's like, "Oh, my arm hurts" or whatever, right? Like
sleeping with a gun.
Yeah, I know, so stupid. There's one part where like he has the gun after a dream, and he's like, "Get out of there!" And
he's like, "Get out of my!"
Do not put that on screen. What are you doing? Jesus Christ! I don't care how demented he is. But yeah, like they just it's he. I think it's like right after the car chase in the tunnel, he gets up and he like blocks the robot's punch, and they reveal that it's like it got chopped up a little.
I'm a robot.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, or something. It's something dumb. He's like, no way, or some stupid shit. It's very. I can accept corny if they know that they're being corny. I don't think that this movie knew that they were being corny. I think they were trying to be serious about it, and this is what they came up with.
No, if this was like in the 80s, I could see this being like, oh, fuck yeah.
I'm down for this.
Yeah. But no.
We already have Terminator. Terminator's better.
Yeah.
That did actually come out in the 80s.
As I was talking about it, my rating actually dropped to like a 6.5.
Yeah, I'm a flat 6 still, because like I gained some entertainment value from it, and like you know me, like I'm gonna rate something off of like how much fun I had watching it, and I did have fun at points, so it's not like a total dud. Like, but I probably wouldn't watch it again, and I wouldn't recommend it to anybody either.
Neither would I, man.
It's a very
Neither
skippable movie.
Would I?
Yeah.
But shall we get on to the better AI motherfucking movie?
I need to take my regularly scheduled intermission.
Yes.
But yes, set her up. Some of the creator. Probably.
Creator.
I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to say favorite, but for sure. It goes up there of like movies of the year. So
oh, 1,000%, bro. 1,000 fucking %. Yes.
An interesting conversation, especially considering the climate of AI right now.
Oh yeah, exactly. But yeah, while Daniel goes and takes his episodely, I don't know how would you say it? Weekly episode piss. I'll take this time to say, hey, why don't you guys go and follow us on Instagram, YouTube, all that stuff at 2HIGH4TV, 2OHIGH4TV. That's the number 4, not spelled out. Just the number. Symbolize it out. But yeah, guys, go follow us on that if you want to see, if you want to watch our full episodes, if you want to just follow us on Instagram and support, we post clips and stuff on there. Follow us on YouTube. We post the Ahsoka review separately. So if there's stuff that you just want to see separate, if you're like, fuck, I don't give really two shits about the rest of what you guys talk about, but I really like when you guys talk about Ahsoka, you can find that on Instagram, or not on Instagram, on YouTube as well. And when other shows come out, like Loki's coming out, when Invincible comes out, when other shows come out, and I feel like, hey, we're doing like weekly reviews on this, I'll chop them up and I'll throw them on YouTube. And I'll also throw them on, other reviews on YouTube as well. Like if you guys just want to say, like the creator one, I'll probably chop this up and throw it specifically on YouTube, just so that's its own fucking, its own review and stuff. But yeah, hope you guys had a good week. I hope you guys had a great weekend. Obviously, you guys are hearing this on Friday, so, I mean, who cares about the weekend at this point? We're waiting for the next weekend. But, yeah, hope you guys had a good week. Hope work's not tough. Hope your boss ain't on your ass. I hope you're getting all your shit done at work. And I hope you're having a good day whenever you're listening to this. What day are you listening to this? Comment down below. Comment down below the day, the month, and the year that you are listening to this. Wherever you're listening to it.
We're going to have like a niche audience in like 15 years when like a bunch of like 12-year-olds are going to be like, have you ever heard Too High for TV, bro?
One day we're just going to get like a crazy influx of like comments on a video.
Yeah.
6 years from now.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I'm listening to this on the
Yeah.
December 2nd.
Yeah.
Fucking. Goddamn.
How long after airing are you watching this one or whatever? Yeah.
But yeah, shall we get into the
Let's
creator? So in the
creator.
newest sci-fi original from Gareth Edwards, director of Rogue One.
Yeah, Godzilla too.
Yeah, Godzilla, which is Rogue One, one of my favorite fucking Star Wars movies. That for sure goes up there. It's a beautiful fucking movie.
It is very good.
But the creator, if you haven't seen anything about it, if you've been living under a fucking rock and you haven't seen a single thing about the creator, I'll tell you about it right now. As a future war between the human race and artificial intelligence rages on. Ex-Special Forces agent Joshua is recruited to hunt down and kill the creator, the elusive architect of advanced AI, which is actually, they have a name for it in the movie, right? It's called Nirmata.
Nirmata is the name of the creator.
The creator,
yeah.
Which translates to the creator.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. The creator has developed a mysterious weapon that has the power to end the war and all of mankind. As Joshua and his team of elite operatives venture into enemy-occupied territory, they soon discover the world-ending weapon is actually an AI in the form of a young child.
Good shit.
Yes, they fucking great movie starring
Really
John David
good.
Washington, Gemma Chan, Ken Watanabe.
I think it's Oh no, it's
Watanabe.
Ken Watanabe.
Sturgill Simpson. Who played? Oh, Alfie. Madeline. Una Boyles.
New actor for me. I've never.
This is
seen her
I think this
before.
is the first thing she's ever been in.
She was really good.
She
was
was
fantastic.
Fucking great.
Yeah.
But yeah, guys, this for sure is way better than iRobot.
Oh yeah.
Dives in deeper to the concepts that I was talking about in the last. When we're talking about iRobot in terms of like, what does it mean to be human and stuff like that, right? Which
or just like, what does it mean to be alive?
Yeah, what does it mean to be alive?
Because you explore the concept very surface level in the other one, but then in this one a little bit better of like, are humans do humans have the exclusive right to like being alive, to being sentient, to like being something that like exists as a person in like the world, right? And I think the answer is no in this movie. But
you thought the answer was no?
Yeah, I don't think they have an exclusive, right? I don't think
humans. humans. Okay.
Yeah.
For some reason I like checked.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. No, I think I think that in the movie, and I think probably one day once it advances enough, we don't have an exclusive right to existence. We're not the only things in this world that can claim to be alive. There's plenty of other things already.
We didn't copyright living, all right?
No, man. But yeah, it's a really, really, really exciting concept, I think, to explore. And I fucking commend the shit out of Gareth Edwards for making and releasing this movie when he did, because he is like so fucking on the ball, on the pulse, like fucking boots on the ground in terms of like how real this movie feels. The reaction to AI, how different types of people might react to AI, what AI means, what it will be 10, 20, 30 years from now. And yeah, man, this fool is like, he killed it with this movie. It's really, really good. And I think I would call it a must-see for this year. I would highly recommend
1000%.
go seeing it. I want to go see it again because I think it is the type of movie you want to watch twice.
There's just so much. Like, it's such a, like...
It's pretty overwhelming the first time you watch it.
Like, the story that's going on, I think, is, like, really gripping. Like, I think in the beginning, it kind of is pretty fast and kind of bounces around pretty quick. But once it really settles in and you start on this journey with Joshua and Alfie, like it really starts to like pull you in and like it hits home, and like the different places they go and the different things they see are like, I was like really blown away with like not only the story that they were able to craft with this and bring this father-daughter relationship between just a regular person and an AI robot, I thought was really interesting. Obviously like a classic story of a father who quote unquote lost a daughter, as you learn in the movie. Spoiler alert, by the way.
Happens in like the first 10 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. But this the story of this father losing a daughter and then gaining one, and like learning to love her because she is everything that he just doesn't like. Obviously, like in iRobot, freaking Josh here just doesn't like robots. He's just, I mean, I wouldn't say he doesn't like them, but he's just like, they're just not. They're not people. They're not real. Like, you know, once you turn them off, they're just off. You know, they don't die or anything like that. You know, they don't have feelings or anything. But then he learns that, you know, this one does have feelings. Or like, you know, he learns through her. He learns through Alfie that they all have feelings and stuff like that, you know. And I thought it was so great. But also the world that is crafted in this, I think, is ridiculous. Because let's get this straight. This is an $80 million budget for this movie.
It's big.
Looks way better than movies that have double that budget.
Yeah, I think so too. They're also the other thing too is like they're I don't like, subtle's not the right word, but they're like smart about how much they show you, right? Like, for example, what is the big giant spaceship in the sky called?
Nomad.
Nomad. So Nomad is a great sci-fi concept, super believable, works really well for this world, and they're smart because if like Nomad was in the MCU, like you would see it every other scene, like whenever you would transition to like probably Nick Fury being up there, right? But in this movie, they almost make it like a monster where like you don't really see it that much. You just see the blue beams that it projects, which is obviously much cheaper to make than like a whole fucking ship, right? But they're smart about how they use these like really big, scary, like $80 million concepts, but they can do so many of them because of like how they present them. It's really good.
But I think even like the world around it too, like they did a lot of like shooting like on site, you know? So it wasn't like, you know, they crafted this world from like the ground up, but like, you know, just like everything to like, you know, we get the scene where we see his old like military buddy, right? That was at first like, oh, you have this mission to go fucking get in with Ramada's daughter to blah, 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 so we can, you know, do all this. And then you come to find out, like, later in the future, like, after everything goes down, like, he falls in love with, like, an AI you know? And just, like, the world around that, like, like, seeing all of it was just, like, I don't know, just so breathtaking to me. Like, it was such a beautiful movie. And definitely, like, one of the best movies I've, like, just, in terms of, like, the world that's crafted and what I'm watching on a screen, like, one of the most beautiful movies I've seen, like, in quite a while. Like,
it's very unique.
Like, Oppenheimer was a greatly filmed and shot and looked very beautiful, but that also is just, like...
It's our world.
It's just our world, you know? And
it's
this
our world through a beautiful lens.
Exactly. Yeah. Whereas this is, like, our world through a beautiful lens, but, you know, he added more to it, you know?
Well, I think what's very smart about what, like, the placement of when the story takes place, right, is it's, like, the way that the story happens, you get this in, like, a quick little news flash montage at some point in the movie, is that, like, the rise of AI began to happen, much in the same way that's happening to us now. Yeah.
Very beginning.
And then they created robots eventually that had this AI in them, so there were humanoid people walking around. They started to integrate more into society. They started to become police officers, all this and that. You see the rapid growth of them, and then you cut and you fast forward to apparently, reportedly, an AI launched, which they did, right? But you come to realize later it was like kind of a mistake. But an AI launched a nuke on Los Angeles and fucking blew LA into the ground, right? So it's not post-apocalyptic, right? Because the rest of the surrounding world survived, but it's like post-societal in that, like, it is our society now in like the next 5 to 10 years, but it's our society now 30 years from now after a tragic event happened and everything's kind of gone south.
Yeah.
So, like, it's familiar enough to where you can film in real life locations, but they do these, like, subtle little, like, crafty ass technological set shit where it's like, oh yeah, okay, that looks like a little more futuristic, but that looks like my house, or like that looks like a restaurant I'd go to, but there's like more, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's familiar enough, but it also feels alien and like futuristic.
Yeah.
It's fucking good, man. It's
Dude,
good.
it was so good. Like, I was really blown away with it. Like, I definitely did have my reserves going into it because I did see some early reviews, like non-spoilery, but where some people were like, yeah, it was nice, but I wasn't as like invested into it or liked it as much as I would. But like leaving it, I was like, oh my god, this shit's fucking great, because it made me like, I don't know, like a movie about AI made me really feel something and made me really question about what it does mean to like just be alive and stuff like that, you know. And I was just like, like when we walked out of the theater, and you're like, wow, I didn't expect like a movie to make me like have me rethink my
I feel
like
sympathy
thoughts
for AI
on AI and stuff like that. And it's just like, it's crazy that a movie, because like it was funny, like the other day I was talking to my mom about it, and she was like, like I don't know, and I was like I get it, but I was like, but just think about it, like if you didn't know, right, or if you were literally just sitting down and having a conversation with an AI robot, like we were literally sitting down and having a conversation, like what is that? Like you're literally just having a conversation with the person. You're know?
Having I think it's funny because like it makes an interesting like argument that I think some scientists that I've seen, like popular scientists, you know, like Neil deGrasse Tyson and like all those kinds of dudes or whatever, which is that like all
Bill Nye,
the science guy, right? All we are as like human beings in terms of like what we experience as reality is just like a collection of information, like sensory information for sure, right?
We literally have a supercomputer in our fucking
That's all the brain is. Head. It's just a gigantic, it's the most advanced computer in the world by like certain standards, you know, like obviously it's not a computer, it's made of organic material, but it like essentially functions like a computer, like again, super, super advanced, right? But like that's all we are. We're just a collection of stored information and experiences that we can do on the computer. Like you can store memories on the computer. You can create experiences on the computer. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's very primitive right now for sure. Like we're definitely not at the level that this movie's at, but one day we for sure could be.
Yeah. I thought what was most interesting to me was how integrated, like in the movie, the robots and the AI are into just normal everyday life, where they are really just walking around as normal people.
Yeah.
Like when you see them like a part of like religious groups or
part of
just
families,
part of families and stuff like
shopping.
That. Exactly. Like more depth to them than like in iRobot, where iRobot, the robots are literally there just to like help people out.
Yeah.
And just to like, oh, I forgot my purse. And the robot was running back to my fucking house just to grab my purse. Where it's like, no, like they go, like they really do their job to go and show how human these robots are and how advanced AI has gotten to like I was saying earlier, like when the dude that I forget what his name is. What is it? Is it that guy, Drew?
Which guy?
The guy that we see in the beginning that's getting beat the fuck up by the AI.
I think that is him. Yeah.
So I thought what was like really crafty about the scene where you first meet him and you meet like his wife or like his girlfriend or whatever, is that you don't know she's a robot. You initially think she's just a regular person because of how she acts. She obviously
she is a regular person.
Well, exactly.
Yeah. I was like, wait, what?
No, she's a robot.
No, she's a person. Yeah. She's real.
I'm getting
Joshua's wife?
No. Drew's wife. No.
Okay,
I was like, what are we?
Like, what?
I was like, you're throwing me off so hard right now. I thought you were really super playing into like, nah, dude. Like the AI is a real person.
It's a human.
Yeah.
Okay.
But like, okay, when we meet Drew's wife.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah.
Which I forget what her name is, but we meet her, and that's when Josh is still like on the fence about Alfie and all this stuff, and he brought Alfie over to see like what the fuck she is, and that's the dude telling like, oh, this is some crazy shit. Like she's actually like growing. It's not just like
he trips out hard. Yeah.
But you don't know his girlfriend is a robot until she actually dies, and then you see, and you're like, holy shit.
Yeah.
I went through this whole however many minutes thinking that she is just this regular person who is just really down for robots and is just down for him.
Yeah.
But then no, she's an AI.
Yeah,
herself.
There's like a little hint because what's his name? Joshua kind of like looks at him and is like, really, like, what? Like, what's going on, bro? Like, you too or whatever. And like, you're kind of confused or whatever, but then it makes sense eventually because he's like, you dated a robot, bro. Like, we were trying to fucking kill them together in the military, whatever. But another interesting thing that I liked about the movie, and I thought, again, was like probably pretty accurate representation, which is The rest of the world is cool with AI. The only people who have a problem is a good old US of A. Like everywhere else, they've just accepted.
Yeah, they're like, hey, these robots their AI is cool.
Like it's fine, they're people. Like
Yeah.
that's my cousin, that's my wife.
America's
that's
like,
my
nah.
nope, absolutely not.
In America.
Yeah,
we don't do this.
we don't allow nothing but human beings.
Yeah,
this
is America.
Yeah, so it's very funny. Again, I think very true, probably very accurate to life. I could see that happening. But it's funny because like we come to realize at some point, and I mean, it's not like word of God or anything like that, right? Like it's not a big reveal within the context of the story, but at some point or another, the robot, the AI that Ken Watanabe plays, tells Joshua like, do you know the fucking nuke wasn't even our fault? Like it was a coding error. Like the coding that you humans put into us as AI had a malfunction in it that made us perform that act or whatever. Like we didn't want to do that. It just is what happened or whatever.
Yeah.
And still they obviously, you know, very much in American fashion, freak out, exile, like, no, fuck you, you're the enemy.
Yeah, I like when they pose the question to him of like, oh, what would you do if you guys like won? And he was just like,
Nothing.
He's
like we just want to live, dude.
Yeah, we would just be like, we would just hang out with everybody and do what we fucking would normally do.
Yeah, he tells him, he's like, do you know what would happen to the Western world if we won the war? And he's like, oh, and he's like, nothing. Like we don't want anything to do with you fuckers. Like it's fine.
And I think that's what was so refreshing about this movie too, is like, I feel like so often, especially since like The Matrix, right? We get these movies about AI where AI is just terrible.
Yeah.
Right? In the distant future, AI takes over. And I think that's more so just a reflection on what we as a society think about ourselves.
Sure.
And how fucked up that we are.
Yeah.
And the thought that, hey, if we created something that saw how fucked up we are, they would want to destroy us because they understand how fucked up that we are.
Yeah.
But it was interesting seeing like, oh no, like these are just regular people and they just want to live. Like so contrary to what we have been like exposed to in movies like for decades now.
Absolutely,
you know?
Yeah. I like it. I agree with you. I think it's great because like it's not a guarantee either way. Like it is, for as much meaning and truth as like you may be able to derive from a movie, they're all just like theories at the end of the day of like what the like shared experience of reality that we all have like is. So we don't know. Robots might be evil. AI might be evil. It might be Terminator one day. It might not. Maybe they'll just be homies and you'll be dapping up a fucking robot in 20 years. You know what I mean? Hopping on the Xbox to play a game with your boy or whatever.
Exactly.
Who fucking knows? You don't know. But I agree with you. It's not only is it refreshing, but I think it's also like important to balance out the standards that are like popular in our media, because as much as they are just theories, they're not real. They still affect us very heavily, and the themes that are present in these movies do, so that the general consensus is
AI is bad.
AI is bad and AI would be evil and they would take over and it would be Terminator and this and that. So I like that at the very least somebody has the idea and the stance to be like, well, maybe not. Maybe it would be something completely different. We don't know.
So I'm curious, how did this movie make you go back and rethink your thoughts on
about AI?
Yeah, and what were your initial thoughts, and what like did anything change after seeing this movie, and what did change?
I think like so like to start, like previously before seeing this movie, my thoughts on AI were like pretty mixed. Like I didn't hate it, but like I didn't personally like to use it because my exposure to AI was using Chat GPT as a like kickoff for various different types of creative projects, whether that be for like business, your own personal stuff, whatever. And like I didn't like that idea of like, no, like if I'm gonna make an idea, I want it to come from me. Like I don't want it to be assisted from anything else in any other way, not even like another human being, right? So that's a personal thing. I wasn't really like, I don't think I was like super hateful on AI beforehand. Like again, I had my reserves in terms of using it creatively, but like
just hella racist towards AI.
Yeah, like I don't think I was Will Smith. Like I don't really. I'm having a hard time remembering because like my thoughts are so changed.
You're
now.
the modern day Del Spooner.
I'm Del Spooner of the fucking 2023, bro. I'm fucking get in a car crash and see some kid die and have a hatred towards AI forever and ever.
Fucking robots.
Yeah. But after the fact though, like, yeah, my thoughts are 100% completely changed. Like, I think that, right, like what I was saying earlier, we're in a much different time period than where this movie takes place. So obviously AI is not nearly as advanced as where it is now. But I do really think that if someday in the future AI does advance far enough to the point where like they can become sentient beings that also live and experience reality, like maybe not exactly as we do, but in a way that's their own, that is still like valid, I could very much see hatred and bigotry still being a thing and me very much being against that. So I would like to believe that if in the future, if robots and AI do become a real possibility of like another species that we need to coexist with, as long as they're not trying to fucking kill us all like Terminator, then like, yeah, I'm down for a robot homie, dude. I'd be super down for an AI buddy.
That'd
like,
be cool.
That'd be crazy. Imagine a third member on fucking 3 High for 3V one day. And it's like, he's a robot, bro, but he's a homie and he smokes weed with us and shit. Like, yeah, so yeah.
Like, hey, what's up? My name's Scott, and yeah, I'm just an AI robot.
Yeah.
And I don't know why he talks like fucking.
Because he was manufactured in Scotland. Yeah. That's why.
But he talks like a Korg from fucking.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he was manufactured in New Zealand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, hey, yeah, I'm
Hi.
my name's Scott, and yeah, I'm just a robot, and yeah, I was came to be a robot like 6 years ago.
Yeah.
And yeah, now I'm here.
It's like,
and,
I'm only 6, but the like aging is a lot different for robots, so I'm actually smarter than you already.
Yeah, I've watched a lot of movies, but that's only because they've been uploaded into my head.
Yeah.
And yeah,
I've access to every movie ever at all times.
Yeah. And I like to get high.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah. He's like, it's kind of overwhelming, so I just smoke weed to like calm down a little bit.
Relax a little bit.
It's like, that's what I do. You're like, bro.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get you. Just getting back to the movie. What else? I think the other thing I really fucking liked about this movie is, I don't know. It got really deep on the concepts of like just being a good person.
Oh yeah.
And like getting to heaven and all that stuff. And all this stuff, And I like one of the parts that hit me the most was when they're having the conversation on the bus, and Alfie asked Joshua like what is heaven? And he starts to tell her like, oh, it's a place where like good people go, or like people go blah 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 after and stuff like that. And she's like, are you gonna like go to heaven? And he's like, nah, because I'm a bad person.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, we're the same. Like, you can't go to heaven because you're a bad person, and I can't go to heaven because I'm not a person. And I was like, fuck,
that's
dude.
fucked up, bro. Yeah.
That's fucked up for you to think as a child, dude.
Yeah, it is.
Just growing up in this world that is so oppressive towards you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in a time where you're being fucking hunted,
and
you to think like, damn, I'm not even a fucking person.
Yeah.
God, that was like, it hit hard, and especially like the end, right, when he has to send her off in like the escape pod. And he's like, hey, I'm gonna go to heaven, and it's all like, it's because of you, like you changed me. And I was like, fuck, dude.
Yeah, it's intense.
God damn it.
No, it is really good, because like I think I like, we don't know this personally, right, because we're not parents, but like I would like to imagine that there's also an element of parenthood in the themes of this movie as well too, because of that, right, of like a child changing the person, or like like having a kid, realizing you have a kid, whatever the circumstances might be, blah blah blah. Like, new life, whether it's your child or not, I think has the potential to change people, and therefore can like change the world, right? And like that's what the girl does. Like, she literally fucking she does it not on her own, because Joshua does help her obviously, but like she is the catalyst for like this new age where like robot or AI and stuff like are actually free to live as like the way they've been living, I guess, just without the fear of like the US trying to come and kill them all the time.
Yeah, and she's also the first of this like human AI like hybrid, where she was like a copy of like an embryo, and stuff like that.
Because she is technically still like an AI, right? Yeah. Like, she's still a robot through and through, but
has the ability to grow.
Yeah, she was designed off of like a fetus. So and the fetus obviously is like you know, you could probably glean a lot from like what happens when a body grows from that shit or whatever. So it's pretty wild. It's pretty crazy. And it's also like designed specifically off of the embryo that Nirmata had. What's her name? What's her actual name? Maya. Yeah. It's also designed specifically off of like Joshua and Maya's kid, right? So it is, for all intents and purposes, their kid. It is like Joshua's daughter, right?
Yeah.
So it's also, yeah, it's crazy. It's good shit. A very like personal story that I think had much more action than I was expecting it to. Like there's a lot of times where, again, like the futuristic tech is good because like they still just have guns. Like they're not laser pistols or ray guns or anything like that. Like they look like regular firearms that you would see, maybe like slightly differently designed, but they're creative, and the bullets that they fire are like slightly more laser like. They still feel like bullets, you know, but they're like these really bright yellow streaks that like shoot across the air and kind of like leave a little bit of a melting hole when they shoot somebody and stuff. So like it just, again, like the design of just all of the different elements and like all the different components to the movie all felt just appropriate for like the type of theme it was trying to tell, of like, hey, this shit's around the corner for us. This is going to be in our world probably at some point or another. Yeah.
The world that was constructed felt very believable, but also like still that, I don't know, like I don't want like that fictional feel that you would get from like a made up, you know, like it felt
sci-fi still.
It felt real enough.
Yeah.
But with that sci-fi aspect to it, where there is some like Blade Runner-esque like vibes going on, you know,
very grounded
like
sci-fi.
Where it's still like, okay, no, this is like,
it's like if Christopher Nolan made a sci-fi movie.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I also liked Alfie's powers. Like I liked her little fucking
the little praying shit.
Her little thing that shit was pretty fucking tight.
Yeah, it was cool.
And I like the idea of like she has to be doing that for it to be active. Yeah. And if she's not, like, you know, because that's a pretty OP fucking thing. Yeah. You know?
And then I mean, I imagine, because they say, right, like, oh dude, she's really powerful now, but like this is only the beginning. Like as she continues to grow up, her powers will also grow.
I needed the creator too.
Yeah. So like I imagine she'll probably be overpowered enough to the point where it is like the Force, you know, like she can just like stop, don't do that, don't do this. But right now as a kid, it's effective as like a visual thing of like, here's her superpower. Like she's charging it up. You know what I mean? It's good shit. I like it.
Yeah. I remember one thing like while I was watching it and like after I like left and was driving home that like stuck with me is just how like I feel like a lot of the times with movies like this where you get to that point where like the bad guy kind of wins, but there's still time. You're like, and you can kind of like piece together like what happens. Like I still felt like I was like taken by surprise of like what happened, you know, especially like the ending where he doesn't get away and it's just her that goes back. It's like, wow, like I was really like glad that they went that far and was like, obviously it like fits thematically the whole thing, right, of like trying to get to heaven and he himself like figuratively like gets to heaven because he's there like on Nomad, like above the stars, like in the sky, and then and he sees his like wife, and that's like, you know, that's the one thing, like, you know, when people say you go to heaven, you see the people that you like, you know, love that have passed on and stuff like that. So I thought that was nice, but I like that they went that extra step of like hammering home like, no, this is like, you are gonna feel something at the end of this movie, like whether it's, you know, sad or joy because of like, you know, the war's ended and, you know, Alfie's like this hero and blah 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 and stuff like that. But oh man, it was like put you in all the feels at the end of the movie, and I was happy because it's like, I don't want to say it's not often, but I feel like oftentimes that you do watch these movies and you're like, okay, this is gonna happen and that's gonna happen, you know, I've seen this before, you know, same song and dance, you know, whereas this was like, it is almost like the same song and dance, you know, like the good guys do go and they beat the bad guys, but the good guys don't get the all the way good ending that, you know.
No, it's like I think we tend to like sacrificial stories just because more often than not our heroes do survive. Like that's where like plot armor as like a bullshit thing comes into play a lot of the times, right? Like if you're a main character, you're gonna survive. So I think in general, I personally gravitate towards, even though it is bittersweet, right? It's not necessarily as like easily satisfying as something else where your hero does survive. Because like you want Joshua to be happy with Alfie, but it's just not on the cards, right? And so like it's like, fuck, all right, they did what they needed to do, but this fucker died. And so it's like, it's always a trip to me, and I appreciate and I like when a movie or a story is willing to sacrifice a character in general, but the main character is even crazier, because Joshua is like the protagonist of the movie. Like Alfie's a pretty close second, but the movie's pretty much about him. So the fact that he dies at the end is good.
I think that also makes it better for like repeat viewings.
Yeah,
because there is like a thing where you have these big stakes, but then your main character like survives at the end.
Yeah,
and you watch it again, you're like, okay, all this stuff's cool, right?
But I know he's gonna make it.
I know he's gonna make it.
Yeah.
And I think knowing that your main character is not going to make it adds a little bit more weight to what's going on. And it makes you like, I think, pay a little bit more attention to like the words they say, what, what signs there are, to like.
Because, they have limited time as a presence, as a character. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Fuck, dude, this was just such a good movie.
It was really good. Yeah. I was like pretty shocked at the end of it, like I'm not gonna lie, because like usually when we get out of a movie we'll like sit and talk about it for a while. I think for one, we were all probably pretty tired, but for two, like I think it was definitely one that I needed to process.
Yeah,
because I was like, I know that I liked it a lot, but I don't know, it's like I was saying earlier, right? Like there's a emotional knee-jerk response of like, I either like that or I don't.
An emotional jerk,
bro. Yeah, sometimes you gotta have an emotional jerk,
Straight up, dude. Straight up.
But there's like a instinctual response that we have that'll like, you immediately know if you do or don't like something. But whether you do or don't, sometimes it takes you a minute to figure out like how to say why you did or didn't. And that was definitely the case for this movie. I was like, okay, I enjoyed that a lot. I really like that. It's making me think about a lot of things. I can't really talk about it right now though. Like I don't know what to say. I need to just think about it all for a minute, which is good. I like that. It's different. It's refreshing.
Yeah, I like these like, because it kind of ties back into like the whole Martin Scorsese topic that we were talking about. And I think one of the videos I was watching, I can't remember if he said it or like the interviewer said it, but it's like we've kind of gotten into this point in movies, right, where you go and you watch a movie and it's like, all right, cool, I liked it, but that's kind of it, right? It doesn't necessarily make you think deeper about what did this mean or what are the concepts. Like maybe with like a Marvel movie, it's like, oh fuck, what did this mean for the next movie? What were they referencing here? Yeah. But like something like this, or like something like a Oppenheimer, or something like a Babylon, even a Barbie, which deals in like deeper concepts, right? Yeah, I think is so refreshing to go and watch a movie and really have like this really long, like thinking session to yourself of like, damn, what did I just watch? What did I experience? Why do I like the things the way I like them? What did I like? And definitely. Like, what did that mean to me as well? How did I interpret this stuff?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And I thought it was fuck, dude. It was just so good.
Yeah, it was.
It was so fucking good, dude.
Yeah, it's funny that you like say that too, because like it just made me think. It's like that podcast I was telling you about. It was long. It was they were talking about Final Fantasy, the game that I played earlier this summer, and so like I beat it a while ago. So like I've been just watching their episodes talking about it to like like get back to that feels or whatever. And it's crazy because like the whole time they're talking about it, they're pretty like impartial, like they just talk about all the things that happen. They seem excited, and they get to the end of it, and like I was surprised to find out like they didn't like the game very much because the main guy explains, he's like, I'm very much like a person who enjoys things past the surface level, like themes and like rich characters and this and that and blah 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 or whatever. He's like, I don't really like lore. Like I don't give a shit about lore, and like this game is super lore heavy. Like there's a lot of world building, and a lot about where their powers come from and this and that and blah blah blah. And like I think it's interesting, and I think it's part of the reason why like you and I can have such good like conversations about stuff, is it's like I think you and I both adore both of those worlds a lot. Like we like really deep intricate thematic pieces and like singular one things that can make us think about stuff and whatnot. But we're also suckers for like, let me just explore a book's full of a world. I just want to know useless information about nothing.
It's nice when we get some eye candy and some
like that stuff's
some,
also good too, right? And like there's also a lot of like I think it's a different type of like intellectual stimulation, you know? And like I think it's funny that or not funny, but I think it's nice when a movie can do both. Like I think this movie does, which it has some of those, maybe not like the deepest, you know, like I'm sure some philosophers out there would like call us shallow for calling this movie deep or whatever, but fuck you, whatever. We're baby junior philosophers, you know, we're just learning our shit. But
baby JPs, homie.
Like I would say for a casual movie goer experience, which like we kind of are, it is deeper than your average movie, but it also has that fun world building, that fun lore stuff, that shit that doesn't matter, but it's still like it still stimulates the brain of like, ooh, that's cool. I like knowing that like the guns work this way in this world, or that the technology works that way. Does it affect the story? No, it doesn't. But it's fun little tidbits. And when you combine both of those things together, I think that's just like some good top shelf shit right there, man.
Hell yeah,
I liked
man.
it a lot. It was really good.
It's fucking great, dude. It was just fucking, gosh, like John David Washington did such a fucking good job.
Yeah, he's great.
He's such a great actor.
I don't think I could be wrong on this. Maybe this is like a stupid hot take, but like he doesn't look like Denzel, right? Or am I tripping?
Not really. I really don't think he looks like Denzel too much. Maybe it's just because he also has a beard, and I don't think there's very many times you see Denzel Washington with a beard. If
maybe
any.
like a goatee or a mustache, but never
a full on beard.
Yeah.
But there are some times when he says certain things and he sounds like Denzel.
That's what I was gonna say. The mannerisms are there.
Yeah, but it's not all the time that he sounds like him, and I like that. I like that a lot. Like I think
he's stepping out on his own.
It would suck for him as an actor to sound like his dad.
Yeah. To be compared to him all the time.
Yeah, he's probably already getting the comparisons of like, oh, let's compare Denzel to, and they're two different people, so they're gonna be two completely different actors. Like. You know, he's obviously already a fucking phenomenal actor. Yeah. But, you know, you can't, he might not make a Training Day or fucking something like that, you know, where he has a fucking role like that. But this was fucking good, man. It's
pretty good.
It's fucking good. And I thought it was, the scenes where they, like, he just had his one arm, I thought were really nice, were really good too. I was like, damn.
Yeah, they were cool.
Really looks like this homie just does have one fucking arm.
Oh, yeah. The effects on it were solid. I think the effects in the movie in general are really good. But again, because they're reserved with it, right? They're not constantly flashing all the fancy technological stuff. Like most of the time, you spend like in a beaten down truck or like a shitty barn or like a broken down house or something like that. Like it is very much like, again, it's not necessarily post-apocalyptic because like society still exists, but it's like post-heavy tragedy that like affected and reshaped the entire world. You know what I mean? Like I imagine it's probably how people felt who like lived life before 9/11. It's oh yeah, shit's different now. Yeah. Like this is a different world that we live in now. You know what I mean? That's what we grew up in, so we don't fucking know. Like this is just life. But for people who are
we've just grown up knowing fucking
terrorism is a thing.
Waiting in TSA and fucking getting checked. Like,
exactly.
It's so crazy when people tell me like, yeah, dude, like you used to just be able to like
walk through shit.
Just walk through it. It was like
plane.
Yeah. That's fucking crazy to me. Yeah. But I thought just really quick before I think probably getting close to wrapping up here. What I thought like a super random like cool world building part was when they go to like take the plane. They're like, oh, shuttle to the moon. Like moon colony. I was like, damn, that's pretty fun.
They have
like,
moon colonies.
It's such a subtle little thing, but it adds so much to like just where you're at, like the time period and like the scope of everything. I'm like, oh, okay. So they're so advanced, they just fucking. I'm gonna take a shuttle to the moon real quick.
And the fact that they don't make a big deal about it too, I think also helps set it in the world because it's not a big deal anymore. Like
just regular people going up there.
The same way you would take a flight to another country or another state or whatever it might be. Like these people are just taking a flight to the moon now. That's just life. That's how it is. Your grandma probably lives on a retirement home on the moon.
Go to the moon.
Yeah.
Moon.
Great. I will say, the last thing I'll say really quickly is, I did feel like the ending was like a little bit weirdly paced because there is this big heavy crescendo when like they find Maya again and like shit goes down and then they get fucked and the military comes in, bombs everybody and just like takes Alfie away. And for a second I was kind of down for that to be the ending. I was like, fuck, okay, maybe they didn't win. Like that's a bummer, but it's still an effective story from here to there. And then they kind of just like time jump into the finale of the movie. And it felt a little weird to me. I will say that. Like, it was kind of funky to be, like, very intimately, like, second by second, moment by moment with them. And it's like 2 weeks later, Alfie and Joshua go blow up Nomad.
Yeah.
It's like, that part felt a little, the movie showed its colors a little bit to me of, like, okay, they're still stuck in, like, the spectacle that comes along with the sci-fi genre sometimes. Or, like, this type of genre of, like, there still needs to be the big bad thing in the sky that they have to blow up at the end or whatever. So that part felt a little bit unnecessary to me. I would have been okay if, like, I don't know, they just made like got out into the sunset and it was fine at the end or whatever. I don't know, but yeah, that's my only gripe with the movie.
Yeah, like you said, it crescendos and then it like it's like, oh, you just got to ramp back up again.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah. It just felt like weird timing. It like and it's long too. It's the last 20 minutes of like this 2 hour and 20 minute movie. So it's kind of like, did you need it? I don't know. Yeah. But yeah, I still give it like a very strong 8, maybe even like an 8.5. It's very good. I liked it a lot.
I'll say like an 8. I think I'm at an 8.7 for this one. Okay. For sure.
Yeah.
It was super strong. I would agree with like the ending part. It was kind of random to have this.
Just like Avengers finale.
Yeah.
Like Josh was gonna plant a bomb on the rockets and shit. Like it's super actiony.
Yeah, you still had to have that grand actiony finale for this sci-fi movie.
Yeah.
I will say like again like the beginning was paced weird for me.
Yeah.
Just because it was like, oh, here's Joshua and he's just like.
It's weird that the beginning and the ending, they both suffer from the same thing, which is like time jumps. Like
but the middle,
beautiful, fantastic.
I mean, hey, it's all good.
It is. It's good overall.
A burger, you just care about the middle. You don't care about the bun.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's right. Yeah.
See that juicy fucking,
that's right.
You know.
That's the real main course of the burger.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're right.
I would have liked to spend, I think, a little bit more time with the relationship of Joshua and Maya. Like, I feel like
me too.
We got it like tidbits through flashbacks, but I think it would have hit home a little bit more if we just got a little bit, just a tiny bit more time with them, you know?
I would have rather the 20 minutes of action be devoted to more of that.
Yeah. Yeah. But no, overall, this shit was solid. Definitely going to be in my top movies of the year for sure.
Oh, yeah. It goes in the top 10 easily. So
yeah.
Far. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But fuck, man. Yeah, definitely go and watch The Creator in theaters.
Yep.
Take the time out. I think this is definitely one to experience in theaters for sure. I mean, you should go and watch all the movies in theaters, you know?
Yeah.
But this one, seeing it on the big screen, I think you would do it a disservice if you watch it on a smaller screen.
Yeah, unless you have like a huge TV in your house that's like super nice, then cool, good for you. But if you don't, probably watch it on a big screen.
Yeah, if you have like a home theater, like invite me over because like that'd be kind of cool.
I saw this video of a Star Wars themed home theater. That's awesome. It's like designed like a ship, you know, so you walk in, you press the door and it slides open automatically, and then when you walk in it's like chairs, like recliner chairs, but the main seat is like the best seat in the house. It's like the Emperor's throne from Return of the Jedi, and it like leans back and shit. I was like, damn it, that's cool.
Fuck yeah. But yeah, guys, that was episode number 75. Damn. It's now motherfucking
3/4, dude.
3/4, dude. Wow. We're 3/4 old.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's now October, which means we getting spooky movies this whole fucking month.
We have to.
I was thinking this when I was driving home. I was like, "Buck, what are we gonna do?" I think we for sure got to do The Shining.
Oh yeah,
we have not done The Shining.
I'm down.
I think we also got to do The Thing. I think that's another one we got to do.
We should do, if we're gonna do The Shining, we should do another Stanley Kubrick movie.
Okay.
With that, and then we should do a monster movie one. So we'll do The Thing, and we can find something else. And then I told you too, I want to do the James Gunn Scooby-Doo movies.
Oh fuck yes,
we got we were kids. Yeah. So we have at least 3 episodes this month planned.
Yes, we got to do that. Also, Loki is starting this week.
Yes, we'll probably, I think the Ahsoka segment of this show will probably just switch to the Loki segment.
Yep.
Once the October kicks in. So you can expect reviews every week from us. I'm sure we're going to be excited to talk about it. I'm very, very hopeful.
And then like once Invincible starts, because Invincible will start
soon. Same thing. We're going to transition to that, man. Yeah.
We're getting led into a whole, like as was, I don't think I said this on the show, but I was watching Gen V. If you guys like The Boys, you got to go watch that shit. I think it's just as good as The Boys.
Nice.
Just as good.
Very nice.
While feeling very fresh as well. Like it doesn't feel like a copy paste of like, oh, we're just gonna make The Boys but younger. Like it feels like its own thing. We've obviously got Ahsoka.
Yep.
Gen V started. Loki's starting.
Yep.
When Gen V ends, Invincible fucking starts.
Yeah. Crazy.
The
rest of the year, in fact. Also, Spider-Man 2 comes out.
Oh, god damn. Yes.
On October 20th. It's probably not going to be that long, so I know I'll for sure finish it in a couple of days.
I'll finish
so
that
we might be able to talk about that before the month is over too. Who knows?
Fuck yeah.
Who knows?
But yeah, guys, you already know what it is. Go and follow us on all the shits, YouTube, Instagram. You know what it is. 2HIG4TV, TOOHIGH4TV, and that's the number 4. We write it out. We don't spell it. We don't spell FOR. We don't spell FOUR. No. We don't spell FORE.
That's crazy. We're a math podcast. We're a science podcast. We're a TV podcast. But we are absolutely not a spelling
If there's
podcast.
one thing I can't do, it's fucking spell.
I will not spell anything correctly.
Exactly.
Ever. Spelling. CPELNG. Spelling.
There's this video of this lady. She's an Eagles fan. And the Eagles always use EAGLES, Eagles, you know, and they're like, the dude was like asking her to spell it out, and she's like, EGLES, Eagles, and she was just like so confident, and like her dude was just like, fuck yeah, Eagles. Oh god.
No.
But yeah, guys, we don't spell. We just talk.
We just talk.
Yeah, we just
say. We just speak.
Yeah.
We don't spell. We speak.
We don't spell with words. We cast spells, motherfuckers.
That's right. That's only spelling we do, dog.
Yeah.
Expecto Patronum, motherfucker.
Yay! All right, guys. That was episode number 75. We'll see y'all next week.
Later.